Yeah, it is and it isn't.
We are live.
All right, we're live.
You know, sir, I always considered myself an intelligent and capable human being until we try to get this live podcast
audio equipment. Dude, I never thought I would learn so much about audio equipment. And then start an podcast, like hours and hours of reading and then trying to figure out how to plug it all in, how to work it all. And now it's Tim and I set up, 10 minutes, bing, bang, boom. Get in, get off, get out.
10 minutes. So we just took, what, an hour?
What time is it?
A little hour and change.
Yeah. I've not set up a live stream, though.
Yeah, this was a little
I've not done live before.
But here we are. We look good. Hello, everybody.
Damn right we look good.
You got to see this. That's perfect. I'm so glad that happened.
And I'm glad you opened with the fact that you thought of yourself as being an intelligent human being.
Yeah, and then did that.
I'll see it on the aftermath after it's all done.
Damn, we looked really good too.
Past tense.
Yeah, certainly. I'm actively trying to sabotage this.
So far, so good.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, you're just going to have to trust me. That's good.
Yeah. Do you need to hit record on that at all?
Nope.
No. Cool.
Although it might be good to have that audio. I don't want to fuck anything else up.
Yeah, fair enough.
Brother Colin, welcome to Just My Thoughts. What's going on?
Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it. It's been a minute.
Yeah, man. When was the last time we did a podcast? Like 2 years?
At least.
Dang.
Because it was when you had that office in Broadway.
Yeah. That was
the last time we were there. I think it might have been last December, perhaps. Because I think, because I was... No, dude, 2 years.
2 years, yeah. Because I think I got rid of it last August.
Yeah, 2 years. Because it would have been kind of fresh after I lost my job.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to dive into it?
Dude, yeah. Losing your job blows. COVID. So I lost my job in March of 2020.
Okay.
So I was
right when it started.
Yeah, right when it started to go. And... which is funny because I had seen Bert Kreischer like 2 weeks beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was working at a chiropractic office. I was heading up the rehab and nutrition side of things. So I had 2 chiropractors. I would do all the rehab for patients. Was starting to get into the nutrition space. And then, bang, dude, COVID happened. And he the owner laid another chiropractor friend of mine, Dr. Christopher Owens, laid us both off at the same time.
That's tough.
Yeah.
So you're just, up Schitt's Creek. And...
it was figure it out time.
Yeah.
Yeah. My gripe was it took like 30 minutes for him to say the words that like we're losing our jobs. Like, oh, he was upset, like,
mm-hmm.
Cool. But he's like, oh, I've tried to think of everything I could do, and I've talked to so people. And after like 20 minutes, I'm like, yo, dude, are we losing our jobs here? Like, cut the head off the snake. Let me go strategize it and figure out a plan here. Like,
were you guys friends or like friendly?
Oh yeah. Like I had like been to his house. We would play guitar and drink beers, and I would like be around his whole family as kids. And so like I didn't take that personal, like getting laid off his business.
Yeah.
Like,
have you ever fired somebody?
No, I've never hired somebody.
It's terrible.
My dad has fired people.
Yeah, it's rough, man. Because like you love this person, but they're just not cutting it, and you just gotta let them go. And it's so hard to say those words like, "Hey, you are no longer with the team.
Yeah,
you're out."
That's I've been fortunate to do our podcast with Tim for 4 years now.
Mm-hmm. Off the Dome Radio, right?
Yeah, Off the Dome Radio. Yeah. So, but he and I know how we work, and if someone's not, someone's slacking on something, which is pretty rare, that hey, we kind of need to get this done, and that's enough for the other person to realize, oh, I got to pick it up.
That's a good partnership, though.
But yeah, it works out. But I am so hesitant to do any business with any friend.
Yeah.
Just because there's going to be issues. And if that person just can't separate business and friendship, it's a disaster.
Yeah, and it's really hard.
Yeah.
And the relationship to manage whenever like you're in charge and you got to look at your friend and say, hey, you need to do this now.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
it's hard to not blur that line.
But yeah, if you hire someone who's not your friend, and if you have, so my dad's biggest thing, he's like, it's rough to fire someone if they're going to be surprised.
Yeah.
Like if someone's going to get fired, it really shouldn't be a surprise.
That's a very good point.
So then he's like, you know what? Come to my office. Don't sit down. Yeah. This happened. We've had these meetings. Not cutting it. It's time.
Yeah, the first person that I had to fire, eventually, like it was just like I was just a coward about it, and eventually he was just like, "Is there something you need to tell me about my place on the team?" I was like, "Yeah, sorry, you're fired."
No, the second one around it.
Yeah, the second one was just like it was one of my best friends too. The second one, and it was like we had like this. I had to do it over the phone, like couldn't even do it in person.
Even worse.
Yeah, it was rough, and it was just like I just had to read off of a piece of paper.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't think like it, because like I said, it was one of my best friends, and you're just telling them that they're no longer part of the team, and it's hard.
Now, was this with your marketing agency?
No, this is with Indie Fitness Mag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. It was a while back. I don't want to go into the details of it, but yeah, it was tough. So you got laid off or fired?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Then, I'm not a guy who likes handouts, but I hopped on unemployment to pay the bills. And then my friend, Dr. Owens, and he got linked up with the gym owner. That was when we were at TWR, and we rented office space from her for about the next 2 years.
Okay.
And then she said she needed that office space back, gave us a 30-day eviction notice, and then I found a new gym.
Okay.
So, because I was like, that just cut half my revenue, because I do nutrition, I can do that anywhere, but I also personal train a lot of people, and I do rehab. So I need a building.
Yeah.
Like I need an actual brick and mortar place to do that. And an LA Fitness isn't going to let me just rent space. They're just not. Yeah. They're going to try to own me completely, and I'm not going to deal with that. And so I started emailing other gym owners in the city, and this one guy, Chris Impagliazzo, he owns CrossFit Lupos up in Fishers.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, man, I've kind of been looking for people like you to be in the same space. I was like, oh, that's perfect. And so he kicked himself out of his own office. He was going to build out a new office, though, but he kicked himself out to put us in, and gave us a pretty good deal on rent. And because half my revenue was just gone on a whim. Yeah. So I had to make that up. I think it was within 2 weeks we had a new job. Wow. And yeah, that didn't go over well with the last place, which we kind of talked it out, me and that other owner. I was like, look, you evicted me. Yeah. It's not a personal thing.
What did they expect?
Exactly.
You're not going to work?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We had agreed on a couple lease terms, and, it just, we all ran out of space. That's fine. That's totally cool. And I had emphasized, this is not a me against or trying to retaliate. No, business is business. But I have to, this is my business and my livelihood. So that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
And, regardless of how I put that, however many times, it wasn't a popular decision, but I'm not here to please everybody.
Right. How did you, so the first, whenever you got laid off at the chiropractor, was that your first time kind of just being out on your own and going for it?
Yeah, completely. Yeah. So I think I needed a little boot in the ass.
My question is, what did you do for income that you never pictured yourself doing? For me, one time I lost 2 clients in one day. And it cut my income down almost 60%.
That's a big chunk.
Yeah. And I was just and this was shortly after I left my job. So I left my job, I want to say 2017, 2018. And 2018. And my wife's pissed at me.
Yeah.
Right, because we just bought a house. We were married.
At least you bought it before you quit your job.
Well, no, I didn't though. That's the thing.
Oh,
Shoot, yeah. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. So she was pissed. I'm like, this is the right thing. I'm telling you, and obviously messed things up for us on like the home buying front, but we got it figured out eventually.
Yeah.
But lost 60% of my income like right out of the gate, like 3 months after I leave my job.
Awesome.
So she's pissed.
Awesome.
And so I hopped on Lyft, man. I did Lyft for a little while.
Yeah. Dude, people can make some decent coin.
You fucked my car up pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. You
just
put
like
miles on
too much miles. Yeah,
quick.
I won't say it's something I never thought I would do, but I was writing blogs like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, and I was using Upwork for a hot sec, and dude, getting started on those sites, no one tells you how hard it is to even get your first basic ass $20 blog, which Upwork's going to take a few dollars out of that too. So you make $12 to $15 for, 500 to 1,000 words. You get paid dog shit.
Yeah.
And then
you're competing against like these factories.
You are
content. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I lucked out, got a few gigs. And then once other people start seeing that you have earned something, they'll give you a shot. You put samples up there. And so I started regularly writing for this same company. Then they moved me over to off of Upwork to Slack. So then I didn't have the Upwork fees. And I'm like, hey,
that's interesting.
So we can't say this via email, but talk to so-and-so at Slack, same company, but we're going to move you over. We want our better writers over on Slack. Because I'm a pretty damn good writer. I like to think.
So I would add that you've done some articles for us, and they've been amazing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Once I got a feel for what you guys needed.
Yeah. The first one I just had to edit, but it's so much easier to edit something than just sit down and write. Right. Like the hardest part about writing is getting started.
Yeah. 100%.
And like having a framework to work with.
Yeah.
And once that first one and then the second one, how many is it? 3?
Oh yeah, like 3 or something.
And they've been great. So
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. So I started doing that, and I was just slaving for like $20, $30. I mean, I would write 3,500 words on fucking office chairs.
What?
Yeah, I was writing just dog shit,
like ergonomics. I don't remember
whatever. No, just office chairs. Just like all types of office chairs, ergonomic, non-ergonomic, like ones that go up and down, some that don't. Like, then I would write stuff about Tesla. And finally, I was telling these people, hey, these are my categories I'm really good at writing about. I'm not writing about bullshit like office chairs anymore.
Yeah.
And so finally, I got to be a little picky and choosy once they moved me over to their other side of the pond there. But, dude, that's what I was doing for money. And I was making, maybe a couple $100 a week.
So you were probably writing a lot.
I was writing a ton, dude.
Okay.
I think to date, I'm over 500,000 words.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy.
I've written over 500,000 words.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I was so I don't love writing. I love having written, being done.
Yeah.
But there's no better thing for I feel like intensifying your understanding of a subject, organizing your thoughts. Nothing better than writing.
Well, yeah, because how much research goes into it too.
Yeah.
Like writing is the faster part. It's the research that can take a while if you're not familiar with the subject.
What's your favorite thing to write about?
Man, I got a few things. I love writing anything mental health. I'll write about health and fitness, anything and all things go. I've written about combat sports. Dude, I had one. It was is combat sports dangerous to your brain or something? I'm like, yes, period.
Of course.
Done.
Yeah.
Cannabis. I've written in the cannabis space, done a lot of work there. That's really fascinating to write about because it's such a misunderstood industry.
It totally is.
From CBD to THC to medical marijuana.
Delta 8.
Delta 8. I've written about Delta 8 before.
I posted about Delta 8 one time, and you're asking me these questions. I'm like, I have no fucking clue, dude. It makes me feel happy for a while.
Yeah. We live in a non-legal state, but if you're in a legal state, I would just recommend you get the real thing over Delta 8.
Yeah.
Just because Delta 8 is partially artificial. It's synthesized. So they'll take real parts from the marijuana plant, but then they synthesize the rest to make it just legal enough, good enough for government work.
What would you say is like the real stuff? Is it becoming like? Are they adding synthetic parts to it, or are they just like breeding naturally?
So what's been going on, even in some legal states where shops are not, I don't want to say regulated, but regulated,
Hmm.
where they're having fucked up plants. And now black market weed will sometimes have fentanyl.
Oh god.
So it's like fentanyl is such a huge problem. And
Yeah.
it's not getting as heavily addressed as it needs to. Like you hear fentanyl laced coke. That's how Mac Miller died. He got bad coke. And so I have known friends in the past where, a big occasion, say, in college, a formal, Indy 500, something like that, they're doing coke. And now it's like, you don't even know if you're getting pure shit that's not laced with anything.
Right.
If someone like Mac Miller, who can afford the best of the best,
Is that how he died? Was
it was bad coke. And that's one thing, dude, I've never dabbled in that. Like,
yeah.
it's just freaks me
It's
out.
scary, man.
Yeah. And so, you got to be very particular where you're getting your stuff. And, on you, if you're getting it in a non-legal state, you really got to know who's supplying. But yeah, I like writing about the cannabis industry. I've written about CBD for recovery, like athletic performance and recovery as well. I use CBD daily.
Yeah.
So I think there's so many good things to it that still gets overlooked. The stigma's kind of dying, but we're not giving it as much credit as it still deserves.
Yeah, I mean, there's a massive difference. I wear a Whoop, and there's a massive difference in my recovery if I take some magnesium and some CBD before I go to sleep.
Yep.
A massive, massive difference in my heart rate variability, my just recovery in general. So what, I mean, do you think that, so CBD kind of like was everywhere for a while and it kind of maybe had like a blow off top moment. You think it's like going to be used consistently from here on out or what?
I think it will. But we've kind of seen it die down a little bit. And part of that is because the hemp plant is one of the most efficient plants we have. So a little can go a very long way. So now you have all these farmers that grew all these fucking hemp plants, and now there's nowhere to go with them because the market is so far saturated. And say a bottle lasts you a month, maybe 2 months. So you don't have the type of turnover as you do with something like
weed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's why I kind of hit this lull in terms of just the CBD market. But I think long term, it is around to stay.
Yeah.
Because the marijuana space is $5-6 billion industry. And I think in the next 4 years, it's projected to get over $20 billion.
Wow.
But it's also a lot more states are becoming legal and they're undershooting what their financial projections actually become.
Yeah.
So states will be a few $100 million shy of what they thought they would get in revenue, and they're blowing through those ceilings.
Yeah.
And it's massive.
So how you might have a good answer for this. I had a tweet a week or two ago, and my question is, why is weed illegal in Indianapolis, like or Indiana? Everyone's like the basic go-to answer is because Eli Lilly's here and they, run everything as far as politics go. I don't know if that's like a good enough answer for me. Why would we not?
Weed was initially became illegal because I just lost his name, but there was a guy who owned a lot of the paper industry, and hemp can be used to make, houses, paper. It can be used to make so many things, and he didn't want to have competition. So they used that. Part of it was racial too. They said marijuana made African Americans like violent in this, and that's just not true. Like if a substance makes people violent, let's talk about alcohol.
Right.
How many people get in bar fights just because they're a little stoned? Nobody.
Yeah. Right.
So those were two of the biggest major culprits of why it was federally made illegal in the first place. And now, I've talked to enough people in Indiana politics. One, they're like, well, we don't need the money. So the financial aspect is hard to sway them on. Medically, I think they just don't want to accept how much good can be done with it medicinally. And then part of the argument against is, so we're just going to allow people to walk around high all the time. It's like, well, you allow people to walk around drunk all the time.
Right.
So let's like, let's address that. If you're going to make a substance illegal, let's go back to prohibition then. And people listen that like, look, I like a good bourbon. Not that I want prohibition, but for the sake of argument. So Indiana, I think, is going to be one of the last states to legalize marijuana.
Yeah.
We're very conservative on things like that.
Have you seen this documentary? It's called Grass. Woody Harrelson is, I think he's like the narrator.
I haven't seen that one. No, I've seen a lot of good marijuana documentaries though.
I believe that.
But not this one.
So I watched this, I think like after my freshman year of college, whenever I started becoming a reefer head.
We're calling it reefer again.
Yeah. Well, so like they talk about like reefer madness in this.
Okay.
So I don't know who like made this movie, but it was just basically like what you're saying. It was like propaganda to say, oh, marijuana is this like dangerous thing. It makes people violent, it makes people crazy. And like it causes them to have sex all the time and do this. And it was just like a propaganda piece to like scare people. And then it was made illegal. But this is a good, so it's the history of the American government's war on marijuana in the 20th century. It's called Grass.
Let's check that
it's
out.
filmed by Ron Mann.
From 99.
Yeah. And Woody Harrelson is he's the narrator of it.
That's cool.
Everybody knows that Woody Harrelson loves his Grass.
Yeah,
so
I like Woody.
Yeah, it was a good documentary. It like really it talked about like pretty much everything you were just saying. It's like they just did this mostly because of this guy that had all the paper industry on lock. He funded all this. I don't remember who.
Then he had power with like the media companies too.
Yeah.
So he was able to influence the newspapers and things, and they would just blast it.
Was he I forget his name. He was friends with Joseph Kennedy, so John F. Kennedy's dad. But he owned a bunch of William Randolph Hearst, maybe.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Him?
Yeah, I couldn't think of it. That's him. Yep.
So
that motherfucker.
Yeah, ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
I think there is, on the other side, do you think that weed gets abused by plenty of people?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything does, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it has anything to do with like an old school thought of like, hey, this will destroy our productivity if people are just high all the time?
I think it can for some.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying it does because, somebody I care deeply about was, very not with it. And then they had a gummy and got a lot of stuff done. They're like, wow, I was surprised.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's literally all about like how you go into it. Like if you go into it with a specific mindset, you're probably going to have a more intense mindset or more intense version of that mindset as you come up on it.
Yeah. I don't know if people have thought about it in that kind of lens of it will affect our nation's productivity. Because there's also a lot of research to fight against that, where people aren't losing that much productivity. Like in terms of the masses, there's a small percentage of people that are going to end up being like doing nothing.
Of course, there's research that can back up any claim. I can have research that say doors are bad.
Yeah.
And you'll have one side saying doors are terrible, abolish doors, and then the other side doors are
borders.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah, doors are borders.
It's all bad now. But yeah, dude, I think it's people need to allow themselves to look at more research with it in the aspect of not just allowing people to get high. Look, it's going to get abused. It is what it is. But in terms of will it help more people than it will get abused? And you're not going to OD on marijuana. I think you have to have, it's like pounds within like an hour. I think it's like a pound, 2 pounds in an hour of consumption to have like an actual OD. And it's like, that's just not possible. You cannot smoke that much in an hour. Not even Snoop Doggy Dogg can smoke that much in an hour.
Yeah. How many people have died from weed?
Just solely from that, I don't think any.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. There's like no cancers caused by it to date. Actually, people have used it for cancer. Like there's a good doc, Weed the People.
Weed the People. Okay.
And there's a handful and for a while I had to quit watching all these documentaries because there was always like a cancer story. And it's just like fucking heart-wrenching. And cancer scares the hell out of me too.
Right.
So I'm like, man, I can only watch so much cancer at one time. But they will have, some will smoke it. Others will do a very high dosage of concentrate, which is very potent. And that's what will help it even showed through a microscope in a petri dish of cannabinoids, which our body naturally makes, but it's in the hemp plant and marijuana. Those cannabinoids were just looked like a little worm just sucking up cancer cells.
Wow.
And just in this little petri dish, and you just saw it sucking up little cells.
And where can you find that?
I think that might have been Weed the People. I think that's on Prime or Netflix. It's on one of the major ones.
Netflix.
Yeah, there's a few between both of those streaming services that highlight it pretty well.
Cannabinoids eating cancer. I found something here.
Yeah.
So my son, we recently found out through a terrible experience that my son has epilepsy. So I've kind of looked into. He's obviously on anti-seizure medication, but I've looked into just like CBD and the effect that it has on seizures. I don't think his situation is bad enough to warrant like this being something I have to do, but it's amazing. Like it gives kids like a chance.
Yeah.
Instead of having seizures all the time, like they can keep it under control, and it's wild.
It's big time.
Yeah.
With something like a little more natural than prescriptions too.
Yeah. I really, with the last couple of years, like trusting pharmaceuticals is just like at an all-time low. Right. Obviously they've done so much wonderful stuff in the world, but there's something to be said about like the reason that everyone is always sick, and you're sick, and now here's a solution for that. I just think it's like there's too many perverse incentives.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the answer to it is, but
yeah, I don't know either. But it's easy to write a script.
Yeah, super easy. Easy to get a script. Easy to get stuff without a script.
Yeah.
It's just poison everywhere. I didn't know that we would be talking about marijuana so much today, but
Neither did I. Shit.
It's a good topic.
But, off of blog writing, yeah. But I did a lot of writing in the cannabis space.
Okay. I was talking to Jordan Burns. You know Jordan?
I know of him.
Okay.
He and I have never met, but I know the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should connect. He's wonderful, but he just wrote his first book.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I got that. I think it's called 11 Health and Wellness Hacks or something like that. Okay. And he is for anybody who doesn't know Jordan, he's a chiropractor who is extremely knowledgeable in just overall wellness. So, obviously he's going to take care of your spine, but he's going to, I think his saying is aligning minds and spines.
Nice.
And yeah. And so I'm excited to dive into that book. I just got that from Amazon, but he's writing more and more, and he's just like obsessed with writing now. Man, you got me wanting to write a book.
Yeah. Yeah. Tim and I are working on one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It should be done by end of Q1 23.
What's it about?
So it's kind of like,
and Tim is your partner.
Oh yeah, Tim's my podcast partner, Tim Allersmeyer. Yeah, his business is like career coaching, resume writing. He's a killer. He's got like a 98% job placement rate.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
So I remember last time we talked, I don't know if he had just quit his job or he was about to quit his job and do that full time.
He was about to.
Is he doing that full time?
He's full time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
God, that makes me so happy.
Yeah,
I think everybody needs to be self-employed. That's like my crusade for my life.
But it's not for everybody.
No, it's not. But there's something that can be done by everybody. Will everybody do that? Absolutely not. But could they? For sure.
But yeah, we're writing a book similar to Tim Ferriss's Tribe of Mentors, where each chapter is dedicated to a conversation he had.
And you guys have done like 201 episodes.
Yeah, we just released 201. So the first book is like, we're gonna do like 2 or 3 page chapters. And I think we're going to do 20 chapters or so, something like that, 20, 25. And we have a few more entries to finish for our rough draft, which will be done by end of this year. And then my mom has published a book, so I was talking to her about how to go about publishing and getting a hard copy. We're going to put it on Amazon, do ebooks. So, yeah, we have just chapters done with conversations we've had. And then at the end of each kind of section is key takeaways from that chapter. Like, okay, what problem can we fix with the conversation we had with the guys from Sun King, our friend Brendan King, who's a sports broadcaster? Like, what takeaways can we give readers that they can actually use and apply?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so that's book number 1, and then I think we'll probably do a couple like that.
Yeah, for sure. You could probably I mean, you have 200 episodes to pull from.
Right. Yeah. So we have some content.
Where do you store all that?
What's that?
The recordings.
So those are outside of streaming services. I have external hard drives.
Okay.
So I don't keep all of them just due to storage. I'm not going to buy like 30 external drives. But so if we need them, I can always download them off of Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. So I can get those back. But I do have a handful on drives.
You've had some pretty awesome guests who are, just for people that haven't listened to Off the Dome yet, who are some guests that you've had?
Ryan Mickler is probably one of our most notable guests.
Order of Man.
Order of Man, yeah. So that was a cool one. That was at least a year ago. And I was persistent with him. I was working it. And he was like becoming pretty popular then. But I hit him up on Instagram. He replied, told me to send him an email. Shot him an email, nothing. Waited a week, shot him another email. He's like, hey, next week will work. All right, cool. Follow up. Hey, we have friends coming into town. Not going to work. Try in like a couple weeks. I wait a couple weeks, hit him up. We finally get a date. And even on the show when we were rolling, he's like, dude, part of why I got on here because you were just persistent, man. He goes, I gave you every excuse to just say fuck off.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I wanted it.
I was just thinking, I wonder if he's doing that. Like, I wonder if he just vets people like that.
Maybe. But like he actually did have friends that came into town and stuff. And but man, one of the biggest things I learned.
So you were following up on his Instagram. Did he really have friends coming in?
And he did, yeah. But then I kept emailing him too, and I was just like, he's either gonna just keep ghosting me and I'll quit, or he'll respond and he knows I'm still gonna come after it. So yeah, we got a good one with him too. One of the biggest things I learned from him though was he's like, don't wear multiple hats. Like people shouldn't wear different hats. He goes, how I'm talking to you guys right now is how I talk to the friends who visited last week, how I talk to my wife. Like, so these people, I put on this hat to, deal with that. No, be the consistent guy. Like people should know who and what they're going to get. And that always stuck. Like, yeah, I'm not like, if you have a significant other, you might treat her differently than like a homie, but like you're the same guy.
Yeah.
You're still the same dude. So in terms of morals, characteristics, and that just always stuck. Like, be consistent.
Yeah. We were just talking before we started streaming, just about how frustrating it is when people feel like they have to self-censor on a podcast. So like if I have somebody that's on a podcast and they're like, hey man, I don't want to talk about this because of my job. I'm like, that's not even like a controversial thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not asking you to say some like crazy shit, but sorry, my audio just went.
Yeah, I heard it too. Kind of switch sides.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, so frustrating. Like, I feel for you. You can't just like have a conversation like how you would normally talk. Like, that's no way to live. It's so much easier whenever somebody's self-employed.
Yeah.
Like I can call you up and we can talk about weed. We can talk about anything.
Yeah.
Right. And
What's
somebody
my
else
boss gonna say?
Yeah. Right. Well, I checked with him and he's cool with it.
Right. And it's like, we'll talk, like, we talked about me getting evicted. Like I love, that's a great gym. TWR is a great gym. We just ran out of space for each other.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
Like it's business. But that's a thing that happened. That was a turning point. Very grateful for them hosting me. So I think there were people that thought like, oh dude, what happened? It's like, bro, you grow apart, dude.
Yeah, it happens.
Like, yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. So but yeah, trying to think who else. We've had filmmakers on, we've had yacht brokers, we've had sous chefs on mega yachts, we've talked to people in Europe. Trying to think another.
How many do you do virtually versus in person?
I'd say it's probably 30 to 40% virtual. Okay. Because Tim and I were always in person when he and I get together, and we try to do as many in person as we can. But some people they're not here. Yeah. So we have to do remote. So we do a good amount over Zoom as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. So like selfishly, I'm wondering how do you handle that, like the virtual thing? Because I did a Google Meet, and the quality was just awful.
Like audio?
Yeah. Well, my audio was pretty terrible. His audio was fine. He was using the wired earbuds. God, Everything's like air now.
Yeah.
And I was using my AirPod Pros, and my audio was just awful. So I'm gonna go wired from now on. Well,
so yeah, you should have your rig set up.
Yeah,
because that's what we always do. Is we have our full setup.
Yeah,
and then we still use Zoom, but we make sure that they're at least going to use some type of headphone.
Okay.
Whether it's an earbud, plug-in, or Bluetooth, like some type of earphone or headphone, just because otherwise they're just talking. You have all this empty space. And then it's straight to computer audio. So it's however their computer picks it up. And we're back.
Speak of the audio. Yes.
We're back. Oh, damn.
That sucks. I wonder what it is.
I don't know. Maybe just a loose wire or something.
Yeah.
But so I make sure people have headphones just because they sound closer. They don't sound so far away when over Zoom. So that's the biggest thing. And sometimes the Zoom will cut for a second or two, and it's going to happen. But that's just doing things via the internet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it works out pretty well for the most part. Man, we've had a lot of interesting people too. Jazz players. We just had an actor on who did like Chicago PD. Now he does like sales training.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
whenever I was on your show, we did it at the library. You guys still doing it there?
Sometimes we will use the Noblesville Public Library.
Okay.
Because Tim's up north there, so we'll use that one. We don't use the downtown one.
Yeah.
Just far for both of us.
Yeah, it is pretty far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you guys we got married there. That place is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that place is cool.
Cool spot.
Yeah. It's great.
But
and the marriage turned out pretty good too. So
yeah, so far so good.
Yeah.
2 kids.
2 kids. Yeah. Lots of fun. 2 kids in diapers.
Yeah.
Which is even more fun.
Got new house. You don't have a housing issue anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, we ran out of space in the last one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've aged probably like 10 years in the last 3 or 4 years just from not sleeping from these kids. But,
there you go.
Starting to get some grays in my beard.
Sure, your whoop lets you know it.
Yeah. I'm consistently waking up in the red and yellow, which sucks. But once in a while, they'll have like a week and I'll wake up with like all greens, which is like the good recovery. And that's just like, I just feel like a new person. It's amazing. So
got a year back.
Needs, yeah, exactly. So I signed up for, have you heard of David Sinclair? He's a longevity expert from Harvard. Yep. I signed up for his new platform, and they're like, "Great, you're in." And then I filled out my form, of my lifestyle, and they're like, "Sorry, we don't have room for you anymore." I'm like, dang, I was like so excited to learn about this.
Cold world.
Yeah, but you're talking, how many hours of sleep do you get in the different choices were like less than 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10. And so I'm like severely in less than 6. I'm like, how about 4? And it's been going for a while. So I can operate now off of 4, which is
not good.
Yeah, it's not ideal for my health, but my brain has adjusted to where I can operate on that. It's just, the worst part is it's mostly just it's not like straight 4 hours. It's just like a couple naps every night, which is brutal.
That's rough.
Yeah. So I can't wait for that phase of our life to be over.
Yeah, believe that.
Speaking of cool stuff with health and wellness, I got this Lumen they sent to me. This thing is pretty cool.
You told me about it a little bit earlier.
Yeah. So basically, you just turn it on, inhale, exhale, and it based on your CO2 levels, they can tell you if you're in ketosis or so they have like a 1 to 5 range. It's like, okay, 1 is like you're burning fat. You're primarily burning fat. 2 is like you're mostly burning fat, but a little bit of carbs. 3 is like right in the middle, and so on. Really interesting. And you can kind of tell how your body feels and all these. So it just helps you get more in touch with that. Anyway, I know you're saying you think keto's bullshit, right?
It depends.
Okay.
Context matters.
Fair.
If someone's goal is just straight longevity, and maybe they're they do super low impact, they're not doing many weights. Maybe they do weight training once a week and they're walking and doing yoga. Keto's fine. Okay. In terms of longevity, because your body does not need carbs to survive.
Okay.
Someone like me, who I put my body through a lot every week, I need carbs. Otherwise, I will shrink. It's just, carbs are fuel. So you'll hear there's always outliers. You'll hear CrossFit people who, oh man, I'm on keto and I'm making gains. Well, look at their training age. Are they just new to CrossFit, which you're going to see gains? And they could be a severe outlier.
Okay.
After so long, dude, your body's going to need carbs for fuel.
Yeah.
So it really depends on your genetics, your training, your goal. Like, what are you really going for? So, if someone has cancer, keto is probably the most ideal because you need to starve cancer cells.
Okay.
Carbs or sugar.
Right.
So context really does matter. But I think keto, people abuse keto for like, oh, I went keto and lost all this weight. It's like, well, what did you replace? You just removed an entire macronutrient. You took away all your carbs. Did you increase your proteins and fats to accommodate removing a whole macro? Probably not. So you're in a caloric deficit. You lost weight. That's why you lost weight.
Right.
It wasn't
Not
keto.
because
It was
keto.
the deficit.
Okay.
So I think it just kind of gets abused a little bit. And not everyone really knows why I should do keto. Well, why? Well, I heard it's good for you. Well, you need to understand what you're doing to your body.
Does it have an effect on your hormones?
It could probably help because hormones are built off of fat.
Okay.
So it probably could if someone's kind of out of whack. But if your hormones are out of whack, you probably, maybe do some blood work. Like, I'm not a hormone specialist, so I can't give a lot into that. But you can do blood work or try to balance your diet and see how you feel. Try to get a pretty even keel across the board. If you think hormonally you're out of whack, look at your sleep, look at your caffeine intake. Are you hammering caffeine, then pre-workouts, then all the things that could really be a stressor too. So
now, as far as like fat burn, if keto is not necessarily always the best, what, like, let's say somebody came to you for a fat burn, like they want to lose fat. What's your
weight training?
Weight training. See, that's what I always.
That is the number one thing for fat loss. Now, some people, like, if I started running a lot, me personally, I can lose weight quick. It's a pain in the ass because it's hard for me to put it back on. Yeah. But and I have people where I'm helping them lose weight. I will utilize some high heart rate modalities. Okay. Sometimes it is cardio. Sometimes it's no rest and a cycle of a barbell, some type of loaded movements. But for losing weight, weight training is the best. You can combine the two if you want. If you just like to run because you like to run, go for it. But you need some sort of weight training if you want significant change.
Now, is the reason for that because you're building more muscle mass, and muscle mass requires more energy to sustain itself?
100%. Okay. Yeah. So it requires more fuel.
Yeah.
So your body's going to burn more when you're asking it to do more. So like lifting heavy weight requires a lot of energy expenditure. And so, if you can even stay at maintenance calories and change your intensity of workouts, you'll see some good change without having to completely starve yourself too.
Yeah. So weight training is kind of then like body composition is kind of like a snowball. As you get a better body composition, your body will continue in that direction as long as you're.
Yeah. So I tell most people you'll probably see body composition change before you see number on the scale change.
Yeah.
Just because you are still building muscle,
right,
which is still pretty dense. It slightly weighs more than fat, not by a lot though.
Oh, really?
So now it's not a big difference. Okay. It weighs a little more, but not by a whole ton.
I always just assumed, I never looked into it, but I always just assumed it weighed a lot more.
No, it's not a big difference. I don't know the exact number, but it's not by much.
Let's look that up.
But it is still pretty dense. So, you'll see composition change usually before you see number on the scale change. Now, I do have a lady, she's been with me for a month and she's down 5 pounds. So I'm also doing her food too. Yeah. So
see, you may have heard that muscle weighs more than fat. However, according to science, a pound of muscle,
it's not the same.
A pound. Well, yeah, it says a pound of muscle and a pound of fat weigh the same. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Pound is pound. God, these are super smart people.
Yeah. So this, I don't want to jump into it just yet, but this is like, let's see what ChatGPT has to say. Dude, you got to see this. I was up until 4:30 last night playing with this.
Dude, that's like too early for my blood.
Dude, it's like the moment. So I was listening to a video from some guys that are like investors in Silicon Valley talking about like how this changes things. And their equivalent was, this is like when the internet like came out and everyone was just like building everything on the internet, thinking like this changes everything.
So what is it?
So let's have a look.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
I'm going to do this on Safari.
Yeah.
I know, but my phone has Safari. So my password's already saved.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, this thing, I'm telling you, is just incredible.
I can't bring myself to save passwords either. I trust Apple as much as I trust the government.
I trust them a little bit more.
Well, Apple, did you see they shut down
Yeah.
China's ability to airdrop?
Yes, I did.
And then they wouldn't answer questions. That's fucked.
Yeah, but they also were the same people that when the FBI was trying to unlock somebody's iPhone, they said no.
Yeah, it's like, pick a side. Damn it. Like, where you land?
Their
dude?
side is money. So, like, in America, I think they understand, like, the general consensus, or at least used to be, is that you don't want to just, like, the government shouldn't have a say in private business.
Yeah.
In China, that's just obviously not the
They want to
case.
have a say in Twitter. That was too soon. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, dang it. See, okay. This thing came out 5 days or 6 days ago, and they already have over 1 million users.
Holy shit.
Because it's like blowing people's minds like that. And everyone's, yeah, it's incredible. So, like last night I was playing with it, and we're talking about blogs a little bit ago. And I said, write me a 200-word essay on testosterone therapy. And it like thinks for like 2 seconds, and then it's just literally typing out this essay.
What?
And it was perfect. It's going to change the game, dude.
So I'm curious how, and there are people much smarter than me writing code to do that. But did you ever like run it against any sort of, I wonder if there would be, what is it like when you write a paper for college, they run it through a system to see if it's copied.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so does it pull from like a lot of things and put a bunch of things together?
I don't know how it works. It's like, this is like legit artificial intelligence. So it's like, I think it's what it's doing is collecting information from, I think I read like billions of different data points, and then it puts it into natural human language, and it reads like a human wrote it. So,
I just start writing for that company again and do like
20
articles a day,
yeah,
make
dude.
like 3 bills a day.
That's what I was saying, or that's what I was thinking. I was just laying in bed last night, like this means like I can do like a easy program. Hey, $100 a month for as many blog posts as you want, and just plug the question into this, and boom, 10 seconds later you have a full blog post.
That's crazy, dude.
Let's see if I can. Oh, I want to show this so bad.
This is the stuff that I wish I knew the people doing this to be an early investor. You know what I mean?
So Elon Musk is, I believe, behind
Of course.
this.
Of course.
So this started years ago. I think it was, I don't know, like his role with them. I think like he's just kind of helped start it so they can oversee the development of AI so it doesn't become nefarious. And so like there's like limitations on this. Like they won't do anything with adult content. They won't even put a cuss word in this. Like that's where they're
well, I might have to edit it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I write how I talk.
Yeah, that's how I am. The same way. Man, I'm so bummed this is. So it says we're experiencing
check it out.
Exceptionally high demand. Please hang tight as we work on scaling our systems. Let me see if I can share this video.
That's so big time. I'm going home. I'm going to make an account today.
Yeah, I mean
that is huge.
It's mind blowing. So I will just show you.
Yeah, because dude, written content is still, it's one of the kings of the jungle in terms of marketing.
Yeah.
And I think,
I mean, that's how search engines work.
Yeah. Like, and I don't want to say people are losing sight of it.
Okay, so watch this.
Oh, fuck off. Dude, GoPro is terrible.
So I typed in, write a 200-word essay on peptide therapy. Goes It's thinking.
Get the fuck out of here.
Isn't that insane? And it's writing as we speak. And
No way.
200-word essay done. And it's like a human wrote it.
Literally 10 seconds.
Yeah. So
10 seconds.
in like the last paragraph reads, in conclusion, like this thing knows to start a paragraph like that.
Elon's a scary, smart dude.
Yeah. In conclusion, peptide therapy is a medical treatment that involves the use of synthetic peptides to improve overall health and wellness. It can have a variety of potential benefits, but it is important to consult with a healthcare provider to determine if it is the right option for an individual.
Damn.
Yeah. So you gotta check this out for your blog.
100%. Because that's the thing, is it takes so much time, and I'm like, I need to put more time towards things that pay me.
Mm-hmm.
And even though that can ultimately lead to lead gen and things, it's
Right.
just, man, taking 1 to 2 hours in a day, it's a lot of time.
Yeah. And like the what this called, the reason like I couldn't go to sleep after I was messing with this last night was I was just thinking, it's like they've been talking about like how automation is going to replace people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, so what's the future look like if people don't actually have to work? If the computer can do all the work better than a human, what's the use? Like, it's scary.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Now, what jobs do you think cannot be automated?
That's a tough one. Because I would have said before I saw this, creativity, but these things are putting out art, like AI art. You've probably seen those magic avatars floating around the internet. So people are like,
I haven't seen those.
Really?
Sometimes I live under a rock, dude.
So for the past like week, everyone's posting these like avatars of themselves.
Oh, those. Okay.
Yeah.
People paying like $10 for some AI photos.
Exactly.
Shut up.
So I think it's built on the backbone of this.
Okay.
And yeah, it's like I think it's $8. And it's building out this like beautiful art. Did you see? So Joe Rogan posted like some art that's made by this, and it's just like incredible.
I'll have to check it out. I probably did at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how much. Well, like, see, I don't think your job can be replaced in terms of how to market someone's entire business. Like, you can use this as a very good tool.
Of course, yeah.
But I don't.
Will it get there though?
That's hard to say.
The thing about AI is it makes itself better.
Yeah.
Like it learns and then like it improves at a much faster rate than a human does.
But I think things that require human interaction. So a few years ago, I was at a weekend seminar with Dr. Andy Galpin. He's probably one of the people I've looked up to the most in the coaching space. But he said most forms of coaching can't really be automated.
Yet.
I guess yet. But like
I do agree
even
with
like
that.
Personal training, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people will have, you can create a screen that might be able to check your form, but are you going to stay in front of that screen the entire time? Unlikely. Okay. You're not going to move it with you.
Here's what I say to that.
Yeah.
What if what if the AI reads it out to you in your headphones while you're working out? Okay, do this.
But
you won't get the feedback. So like if somebody's form sucks.
Like people probably still need to see something. You know, in terms of like, hey, your back's all rounded. What do you mean by that?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Or like structurally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would an AI system know someone's structure? Like, okay, if someone's squatting, feet are parallel, they're no wider than hip width, they're straight on, they're going knees over toes, but it's painful in their hips.
Mm-hmm.
You know, will AI know what to do next? Will it know how to do like a simple log roll test? Lay them on a table and just do a log roll test. See where their feet. Literally, I just lay someone on their back, and I will roll their leg back and forth, and I say let it land where it lands. And if their foot just lands pointing out, high chance that their femur is just more externally rotated in the hip. So forcing it more internal when they squat, more feet straight on, not letting their feet go wider than hips will drive pain. It's like things like that. Like at some point, AI, I'm sure, can do something, but there's just,
it's not there yet.
I think there are things that, I mean, it's still new. AI is also a dangerous game.
I know.
We're trying to get there so fast. And Elon Musk has even said it on Rogan. Like, it's very dangerous where it will take something catastrophic, like in the movie iRobot. Because we're already seeing robots jump from one box, like a wooden box, to another box, doing push-ups, things like this.
Those robots are terrifying.
Crazy.
Oh my
Crazy,
God.
dude.
Boston Dynamics. If you haven't checked that out, check out Boston Dynamics.
Oh, dude, it's frightening. And Elon's point was, it takes close to 10 years for regulations to be put into effect. So it will take something catastrophic, like look at iRobot, the movie, where those robots started attacking humans and taking over. It's like Transformers, where the machines are perfect.
Yeah.
As we just said, AI keeps perfecting itself. Humans are never perfect.
Yeah.
Never will be. So at what point do they say, we can live in a society of perfection? Now we have these imperfect infidels. So it will take something massively catastrophic before there is heavy regulation. That's what Elon's point was. I forget how many episodes back on Rogan, but
have you seen Eagle Eye? It's an older movie. Shia LaBeouf is in it. I forget the girl.
Yes, it's been a while though.
It's pretty old.
It's been a while.
That's pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
It's basically making all these decisions and like forcing humans to do things because it's got this goal, right? And its only goal is what you tell it. And so it just does whatever by any means necessary to get this goal accomplished.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying.
What's the other? Is it Lost in Space where Hal, it's like on their spaceship is an AI. It's called Hal, and he starts killing people on the ship, like via shutting doors or suffocating a room. But it's the same thing where it just starts having a mind of its own and listens to itself. It's like, dude, we are on the cusp.
Lost in Space. That's an old movie.
Oh,
I saw that in theaters when I was a kid.
Classic.
Yeah, dude, I gotta watch that. That was so good.
But yeah, and it's like machines just take a mind of their own.
Yeah,
it's I'll scary. Definitely use this blog writing app. Right? That's for damn sure.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm like I said, like I'm just like frazzled from this because I was laying in bed. I need to go to sleep, man.
Yeah.
And all I can think about is like, well, how is this going to change everything?
And your kids probably slept through the whole night last night too.
No,
no,
definitely not. Last night was a little bit rough. My son's like, he's sick, right? Well, they both have something. And so my son, because he's on the ventilator, whenever he gets sick, like he just has a bunch of secretions, so mucus, and we have to like suction it out. So like every 45 minutes, it was getting that shit out.
Well, he's supposed to get off that ventilator, right? Next year?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
It's been quite the journey. So he is going to be 3 in February. He's been on a ventilator 24/7 for his whole life. Now we're up to about an hour a day where we can go off of it.
Okay.
Has to be off of it full time, including when he sleeps. So the goal is late next summer. Going to be tough. But this kid works so hard. Like, it's incredible. I never thought a 2-year-old could have a work ethic, but like every time he tries to do something, I've kind of like conditioned him to like, you keep going, you don't give up. Now he does pull-ups on our kitchen table.
That's amazing.
It's so cool.
That's awesome.
He's walking now. So like he was on his back for the first 9 months of his life. And it was rough, but he just like wants to continue to improve. Like, he's walking now and he gets so excited. He's like his biggest fan. Every time he does something, he's just like,
see, more people need to be like Roman Augustus.
Yes, that's right.
Like, clap for yourself. Be your biggest fan, because other people don't give a fuck.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, I tell them all the time, you gotta like yourself and you gotta earn that.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. See, that's good parenting is the root of half the good and bad in society.
Yeah. Parenting is it's a lot different. I mean, I knew it was gonna be some of this stuff, but it's just like good luck trying to tell a 2-year-old like when they're pissed off to do something or to not be pissed off.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
There was like so many things, like I said, I would never do. Like, I would never give my kid an iPad. He has an iPad. It's like he has to do things to be able to use it. So like he can use it whenever he's off his ventilator. He can use it whenever he like achieves like one of his little goals,
Nice.
but it's very limited. But like I never wanted to do that, but here we are.
Yeah. I mean, hey, what's trying to think how to phrase this. Like in terms of being a parent, what's maybe a characteristic or a feeling that you never experienced or thought you could? Like what's something your kids brought out of you that you didn't know was maybe a part of you yet?
Um, it's been different. So I have a boy and a girl, and the way I put it is, whenever I had a boy, I had this increase in pride in my outcomes, pride in like taking pride in who I am, and
Mm,
more responsibility. I felt more responsibility for my family.
mm,
Then whenever I had a girl, it's just like the amount of love that I have is just
mm.
like exponentially greater.
A little softer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like I'm like a hardo. Emotions are weak, and
You're a man's man.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the goal. I think we need more of that. But
Yeah, that's
whenever
true.
if Roman's acting up, I have no problem, putting him in line. But if she is, I'm just like, oh, it's okay. It's
Why do you
okay.
feel this way? Sweetie?
Yeah. Daddy's here. It really is totally different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say the Jordan Peterson says you can't really grow up until you have a kid, because you've
Mhm.
never loved anything more than yourself until then.
Interesting.
And I found that to be accurate.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, because I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, but um, I want like 10 of them now.
Yeah.
So probably a little too old to go that far, but yeah, they're amazing.
I mean, I know people that I think guy is like in his 50s, wife is mid 40s,
Yeah.
and they just had their first.
Wow. Good for them.
Yeah.
Were they trying forever?
I don't know how long they were trying. They're good friends of my parents.
Okay.
They're incredible people. But I mean, my aunt had her first after 40.
Wow.
So
Yeah. I mean, they like scare the shit out of everybody with that
Yeah.
stuff, but
yeah, because like health implications,
Mhm.
potentials, and things like that.
yeah, it's pretty amazing what modern medicine's able to do. Like Roman's condition is called chaos. If you look here, I'll just Google it.
It couldn't pick a better name.
So it's congenital high airway obstruction syndrome.
okay.
So basically, what happened was his larynx, his voice box, which is part of the airway,
Mhm.
grew closed shut. So if he
Mm.
would have been born, he would have just suffocated.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because there's no airway, there's no passable airway. Let's see. So CincinnatiChildren's.org. What is chaos? I already said that. What is the incidence of chaos? Chaos is a rare condition with fewer than 50 cases reported since 1989.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So like literally more than or less than 1 in a billion chances that he would have this.
Oh my god. He's gonna set so many other records in life, though.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Less than 50.
Yes. So I think maybe there's probably more at this point, because this is what the number was whenever we found out.
Mm.
So this hasn't changed since then.
We're probably still under 100.
But yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
There's been a few we're in a Facebook group that's for parents with kids with chaos. And there's probably so there was like almost no chance of him making it, basically. But I think now the chances are a little bit higher.
Mhm.
But there's I would say probably 10 kids that have ever survived this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
General Roman.
yeah. Roman's Empire.
Good grief.
Yeah. So it's he's got a great story. So whenever he was born, he was like the first kid born at Riley Children's Hospital, because they didn't do deliveries there until like a year after us.
Okay.
They just built like a new wing for it. They have 3 operating rooms, and we took up all 3 operating rooms just for the delivery. So there were like 5 teams that were a part of it. So what I tell him all the time is he saved lives the day he was born, because there wasn't really any good documentation for this procedure to deliver him. and they live streamed it to all these other children's hospitals.
Oh, no kidding.
They documented the process. And so he literally, just by being born came in. He's a hero. So yeah, I tell him that
so
all
many
the time.
speaking engagements.
Yeah, if he can, yeah. So his voice, because his voice box is covered up, we don't know what his voice is going to sound like. He's never made a sound in his life.
Yeah.
So he could have like a super weird voice if he can talk at all. He might just be able to only whisper, but
yeah,
whatever happens, we're going to make sure that we're going to frame it as an advantage for him.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's the only thing he can do.
Yeah.
But man, it's going to be hard to answer those questions. Like, what happened?
It's gonna be tough.
Like, why am I messed up? Like, that's my biggest fear in life is having that conversation with him. And there's nobody knows why it happens. Like I said, less than 1 in a billion chances.
Yeah, 1 in a billion, dude.
Crazy. So yeah, that's a conversation that I'm like terrified to have with him. But my goal is I'm not going to let this become our family's identity or become his identity. Nice. And make sure that he always frame it always as like, I know this may feel like it sucks, but this is going to be an advantage in your life. You're going to have so many opportunities because of this, and people are always going to remember you. Like a lot of people know who Roman is. Like every time I go to the hospital, oh, I heard Roman was here. Like if we're at an appointment, like people from other departments will come to his appointment just to say, see
cool.
Roman. Yeah.
That's cool.
He's got a fun disposition. He's always laughing. He's got these little goofy teeth, so his smile is just like funny. And it's like his cheeks every time he smiles just looks like they're about to pop.
Dude, I always laugh when you post a video of him like punching you.
Yeah. Yeah, he loves fighting. And recently we've been playing not bloody knuckles, but like we'll do it with like high fives. Like he'll go, then I'll go, then whoever gives up loses.
That's funny. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, maybe he'll get in the cage.
I am definitely going to get him in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah, even though I'm not in jiu-jitsu.
You did it a little bit, and you were going to find a full mixed martial arts gym, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. How's that going?
I haven't done it. I went to one jiu-jitsu class, but I just like don't have the time right now.
Yeah.
So I definitely plan to. I think it's like a good skill because like I'm getting more into like the combat side of things. So getting all my guns, hitting the range. I got a bow, like a recurve bow for archery, just in case shit really hits the fan. Yeah.
Just go ancient times.
Yeah, man. You got to be prepared.
Yeah.
I think it's like, not to be like a doomsday prepper, but I think it's like a crazy time in life and shit could go, we saw during COVID, like society it was on the cusp of just falling apart.
Can you imagine someone goes into a hospital with an arrow sticking out of their fucking chest?
Hey man, don't come to the McGrew house uninvited. It
broke in the wrong house. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. I have a bolt lever shotgun, and that's that's like old school.
That's wild.
Yeah, but like I'll never use it. But like if you hear that, like
if you want to steal, you're asking for it.
Yeah,
you deserve it.
Yeah. So I got a couple guns. Probably add to the armory here over the next few years. It's just like I don't know. I want to be prepared, and it's just like fun, just knowing. Like,
I love guns.
Yeah. You have some guns?
Yeah, I got guns.
Yeah.
You
want to share? What do you have?
So, back and forth. I'm letting people know what I got.
Okay.
I do have a rifle.
Okay.
It's a Butte. It's got the bells and whistles. So
okay.
That's don't really mess with that one.
Yeah, you're prepared.
And then my everyday carry, I have a Glock.
Okay.
For an everyday carry.
You carry it? Yeah. I have a SIG P320. I carry it everywhere.
Oh, nice.
All the time.
Yeah, I like the 365s too.
Yeah.
Those are really nice. Yeah. I think my next one, I want a shotgun. I want a nice shotgun. I love those. But I'll go to my buddy's family's outdoor range.
Oh, where's that?
Southern Indiana.
Okay.
Kind of by Franklin area. We have steel targets.
Okay.
So it's fun, dude. We'll do a full box of like 90 clays. I don't know why box is 90, but that's what you buy. And so we'll do clays, and then we'll run through all of those, and we'll have multiple shotguns, and then we'll do some like pistol shooting. Like at indoor ranges, you can't practice your draw. Like you're not allowed to draw. So we'll like practice draw and shoot, things like that, changing out mags, and then all of a sudden, you're loading up a mag and you hear, and someone just changes caliber, and it's like, oh. So we're there, huh? We're going big guns here, and so we got like he's got a wall and stuff, and so we'll peek behind the wall and shoot. But it's cool. Then they have a big gong too. So, but yeah,
That's
you'll
cool.
hear the caliber change, and it's dude. Rifles are I love them, and people. I hate when people who make laws don't know how to talk about guns.
Hmm.
I just watched the clip and I just had to get off the internet. I was getting infuriated.
Yeah.
He's like, "This is a 30 caliber clip." What did you just say? It's not a clip, first off.
Yeah.
But I had good friend of ours, Marquise. Actually,
Oh yeah.
I really
Shout out Marquise.
Yeah, dude. What a hell of a DJ too. Just good human in general.
He's been traveling a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love that dude.
Yeah, I love Marquise, man. We were actually chopping it yesterday. I had posted a video about core stability, and he was asking questions about it. And so we usually stay in pretty good contact. But I always commend him because he's asked like about guns before, like why someone needs an assault rifle for home defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, I appreciate you asking,
Mm-hmm.
like because that's how it should be. Hey, why is this the case?
That's how he is.
Yeah,
He's incredibly intelligent.
just a very curious guy. And I'm like, one, I enjoy guns. He's like, you just love shooting guns? I was like, I love guns. Like at the shallowest level, it's an enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
It's very liberating. But I was like, say someone breaks into your house. How many people are there? Not sure. What are their trainings like? Not sure. What weapons do they have? Not sure.
Mm-hmm.
If someone is in your house, like they're not there to give you a hug.
Mm-hmm.
They probably hope they don't run into you, but some people they woke up and chose violence.
Yeah.
So you want the best advantage possible.
Absolutely.
You want the best advantage. So people say you don't need a 30-round mag. What if they have that?
Mm-hmm.
And you're stuck with 10?
Yeah.
And you're caught reloading and they pop. Like, name a scenario, but you want the best advantage. So yeah, I got a red dot. I got a foregrip. Like I have everything to make sure that my chances of missing are as small as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really it. And you can't buy fully automatics. So those have been illegal for ages. So all these people, we need to ban semi-automatic guns. Every gun is semi-automatic.
Right.
Unless you're getting a revolver or a musket.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put it past me. I'll buy a musket.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. Revolutionary.
But yeah, if someone's in my house, I'm grabbing a rifle over a handgun 10 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm. I love, my response to this is typically always like, I go back to Teddy Roosevelt's quote, speak softly and carry a big stick. Right? You're just prepared. You're not here to use it. You're not here to shoot people.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that I walk in somewhere, like I was in a situation, it was like really kind of like creepy. I was in like a weird, not good part of town.
Mm-hmm.
Shady character starts to walk up
Mm-hmm.
to me, and I just turn around and I have my gun in my waist and
Mm-hmm.
just turns right back around. It's like, it's just a deterrent for things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fucking shoot somebody unless I absolutely have to, right?
Right.
And I probably can't say that on YouTube. So sorry, YouTube gods.
No, fuck 'em.
But it's just like, it's preventative, and there's something to be said about the safety that I feel walking into like a crowded place.
Mm-hmm.
Like you never know when it could happen to anybody.
Well, I mean, that kid in Greenwood.
Yeah.
He was 40 yards away.
I know. That's
and
nuts.
He went 8 out of 10.
That's nuts.
And those stupid women on The View were saying, oh, yeah, you get lucky sometimes. Tell me you never shot a gun without telling me you never shot it.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 from 40 yards. That dude was trained, leaned himself against a pillar. Like, he knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And with people, like, in hysteria, and he put that dude down.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
And, like, he, getting treated like some asshole carrying a gun. But, like, he saved so many lives, and he has to live with that for the rest of his life.
That's the other thing, man. He still has to live with that. He still put a body down.
It was a good thing, but, yeah, he still took a life. You got to live with that.
And I'm not saying bad things don't happen with guns, but it's not the gun that's the issue.
Yeah.
But that dude was well trained. It's like, look how many people he saved. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I got plenty of cop friends who, they see the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
It's like, man,
we had some friends that were actually at that mall at that time.
Really?
That's pretty scary.
That's frightening.
That's really, yeah.
I'm trying to think.
With their kids.
Dude, even scarier.
Yeah.
I've only had one instance where I thought I was going to have to pull a gun.
Oh, yeah?
It was Dude, I was on the north side, like 86th Street.
Oh yeah.
And it was when I lived.
Was it on the west side?
No, dude, I was coming. My white ass was coming back from Whole Foods, bro, in my truck, and I'm on 86th Street, crossing under the highway there. To get, you can go like on a Keystone or whatever. You cross under before you get to like Seasons 52. So if
Yep.
you're going east on 86th,
Mm-hmm.
and so like not a bad part of town at all.
That pretty nice part.
Yeah, and so at that light, and I'm in my truck, so I got a good view of like everything. And the car in front of me, like back windshield was kind of musty, like a little raggedy, whatever. And I see the driver hand by the barrel a handgun to his passenger. Like this, it was a big handgun.
Damn.
Like it wasn't my Glock.
Yeah.
It was there to do some damage. And I'm like, who just does that? And I didn't, at first I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I look, and there's like this crispy white Mercedes right next to him. Like, are they about to pop this Mercedes? And before I even like knew what I was like doing, I didn't know what I was about to do. I'm like 2v1, don't be an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
You want to help people, you have a responsibility, but don't be an idiot either.
Yeah.
I'm not like a trained military guy. I'm
Right.
a good shot, but I don't know military tactics.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not trying to act like I'm a big shot. But my hand was already on my seatbelt to like unclick it. And I was like didn't even realize. And luckily nothing happened. But it's like, you just don't know.
Those moments, like whenever that situation I was just talking about, like
Mm-hmm.
that was very real. Like
Mm-hmm.
my wife and kid are in the car, and like that was just like time slows down. Hell, maybe it was going to ask for help with the gas. I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
But the vibe, like even Caitlin was in the car, and she was like pointing, like eyes wide.
Gut is never wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Never wrong.
Yeah.
If you think there's a problem, there might be.
Yeah.
So, but that's the other thing is like, I love jiu-jitsu. And I wanted that as part of one. I wanted a combative skill.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be able to carry and handle myself without lethal force if someone else was not using lethal force.
Right.
That's a hard one to explain.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen videos of bar fights where a dude gets popped in the face a few times, pulls a gun.
Yeah.
That's not lethal force. You can't.
Right.
You can't answer back with a gun, dude.
Yeah.
So, and not that I'm like some black belt or nothing. I ain't shit, but I love it. Like and your confidence is very different.
You said you've been going over there off of like 71st and Benburg?
Yeah, at Champlin Jiu-Jitsu. Great instructor, very well led. Good people over there. So I like it a lot, man. It's pretty addicting.
And you recently started that, right?
It's about 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because last time we went on a walk and talk, and I think we were just getting started.
I had just started. Yeah. So I'm 4 months in. I go 3 days a week, so it's about 5 classes. So Mondays, Wednesdays, I do 2 classes back to back. I'll do gi fundamentals with the gi for an hour. So someone's listening, don't know, the gi is kind of like looks like a rope.
Like it looks like karate.
2-piece rope. Yeah, pretty much. So you can use that. You can grab it. You can choke people with your own gi. You can choke people with their own. It's pretty fun. And then right after that is all levels no gi. So what you'll see guys that are just in like a tighter like shirt, shorts.
I notice a lot of guys are wearing shirts like this.
Yeah, that too. Kind of like a dry fit style. So you can't grab that. So that's a little more street applicable, if you will.
Right.
And that's a whole lot of fun. I like that too. And so I'll do both of those things Monday, Wednesday, and then Saturday is gi. So between all that, it's like 5 hours. And then of that, sparring is probably like 1.5 to 2 hours worth of sparring. Okay. So some guys go every day. Yeah. But like I'm lifting too, so I'll take a couple days. Yeah. But yeah, I'll lift and do that, and it's a blast.
Good are people. Are you doing any like boxing or
no?
Just okay.
Yeah, I'm just doing that for now. Also, like it's easy on your brain.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing is like not every but most guys just think they would just naturally know how to fight.
No.
Yeah. You go think of somebody that like exactly like I could definitely. I think I just tweeted this yesterday. It's like every man in the world wants to know how they would handle themselves in a sword fight. Like how would I do? I win, of course. No. And I've never picked up a sword in my life. Yeah.
Get chopped to bits, bro.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, you you go to what you're trained in doing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't train anything,
right, training matters. Just like the gun.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I know Jocko. He talks nothing but jujitsu. I love it, dude. It's good to because my SWAT buddy, he he's got a tough patrol area. He's down on 38th and Crown Hill.
Okay.
So he's always busy. Then he does SWAT, and because I was trying to decide, I had one guy tell me do Krav Maga,
mm-hmm.
which is Israeli like close quarter combat defense. He's like, man, most fights end up on the ground.
Yep.
Then what? And I'm like, that's a good point. I mean, you still have to know how to, be on your feet. Then you'll get people like Andrew Tate who say jujitsu is useless. You should stay on your feet. So everyone's got their own take on it, but I think it's good to know.
Yeah, I think it's probably ideal to stay on your feet, but the truth of the matter is it's not always gonna happen.
Yeah, and if you can just like get out of there, just get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't worth it, dude.
Yeah. I used to love, God, when I was a kid, I used to just love fighting. Man.
So you need to hit some people.
Yeah, like in like early college years, getting fucked up and just like ready to go. So much testosterone.
I got a friend like that. Like, gets enough drinks, someone acts a fool in a bar. I was like, y'all fuck? I was like, no. We won't.
So I had a friend that would always talk to somebody's girlfriend. They would start getting shit. And my friend's not like a fighter type. And then come like on spring break one time, he was of course talking to somebody's girlfriend, and like he had like a couple people around him, and we're all just shit faced. And I see them like getting like aggressive with him, and I don't even know what's going on. I just come in and pop some kid in the face.
Nice.
Yeah, and oh man, that could have been bad.
Oh shit, wrong guy. Oh, he was one of ours. Damn.
Yeah, I used to love that.
Yeah.
The last time, I feel like I never lost a fight until my last one. I was just too fucked up. Haven't fought since, so I really need to get back in there.
Yeah.
Get back in that dangerous street fighting game.
You need to rumble a little bit.
Yeah. That's why I want to do jujitsu, is because like there's something like about that aggression, and I think it's just good for you.
Well, there's a Fisher's BJJ.
Yeah, that's where I went.
Yeah. Is that pretty close to here?
Probably 10 minutes.
Okay, so 15. You're probably almost equidistant from where I go to.
I love
that
equidistant. I was gonna say that. Yep,
good
I love that word. Yeah, great word.
Smartest, not just a hat rack.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do want to pick that up, but I just need to.
I'm obviously biased. I say come to our gym.
Yeah. But
go to what's best for you. But our instructor Drew, he's a cool dude, super chill. We got some good players. Got some really good players in our gym. And like I said, I ain't shit, but it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're prepared.
Yeah, I did. I got my first stripe though.
Oh, congrats, man!
Yeah.
So how's that work?
So I guess first stripe he said is usually 3, 4, 5 months ish in that range. Basically, it's kind of up to the instructor's discretion as well. Like, is he seeing you applying things you drill and to spar? Can you handle some things? And so I usually spar with him at least once every time that we do roll, just to have him put me in positions that other people might not. I like sparring with guys that can fuck me up, just because I can learn a little more.
Mm-hmm.
So when he can see that you're applying things, you're getting it, like positions, you can get to positions, then you get promoted. So you get 4 stripes before your next belt.
Okay.
So it's white, blue, purple, brown, and black.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're pretty strong considering the type of training you do. Do you ever find yourself relying more on your strength and technique?
Sometimes.
Because that'll be like a big problem for me. Because I was rolling with this guy, and I was just like strong enough to where he couldn't do everything he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not the best way.
Sometimes yes, but I kind of compare it with like, I am strong in the gym, but because I have good technique, I can lift more weight than people who might be a little bigger than me. Mm. So if I keep honing on technique when I roll, when I meet someone that's like equal knowledge, I might still best them because I have more strength as well. Mm-hmm. But if they have more technique than I do, it doesn't matter how strong I am.
Yeah.
But I can get out of certain things because of strength.
Yeah.
yeah, like I can get out of certain bad spots because I can throw myself up. I've good core strength. I've trained it a bunch, or I can get out of a certain guard because I can deadlift a lot of weight, so I can pick someone up and kind of shake them down a little bit. So, but yeah, I try to hammer technique over just trying to muscle through things. And sometimes the more you fight in a certain position, the more tired I will get than they ever will.
So that's a really good point about like technique, is like technique and deadlift. It's like the best lift ever. Technique and deadlift like makes all the difference. Right. So when you put it like that, that makes so much more sense. Just like focusing on the technique and then strength.
Strength is a great tool.
Yeah.
But the knowledge is what will get you in a good position to use your strength.
Man, you got me wanting to get back or
Do
go
it.
to it.
Do it. 71st and Bedford. Right behind Starbucks, next to George's Grill and Kitchen.
George's, have you been there?
No.
That's good.
But we're like 2 doors down.
Yeah, I know where it's at. Yeah.
And you get a free week trial too.
A week?
Yeah, you get a full week.
Damn. I'm just gonna start bouncing around to all these gyms, get a free week.
Asshole. Yeah, but he's got extra gi for you and everything. We got fundamentals class tonight at 6 to 7.
Yeah, see, I have to go during the day.
He's got a noon class too.
See, I can do that.
Yeah, noon to 1. And that one you spar too. So you'll drill like the first half, spar the second half.
You might talk me into it.
Dude, name a noon and I'll make it happen. I'll go.
See, that's the best part about having friends that are self-employed is like we can do it's 3 o'clock, almost 3 o'clock. I know you said you got to go here soon.
Yeah, I mean, if we roll over, like whatever.
But that's the best part about having friends that are self-employed. It's like, hey, you want to go do this at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday? Definitely.
Yeah, and that's not all the time, but like I can make it happen.
Right. Yeah.
But one of my favorite classes that we have is Saturday morning at 10. It's just I don't know. It's a fun class. That's a gi class, and that's like the only time during the week I get to spar in the gi. So I've gotten probably more efficient in no gi, but it's a nice change of pace. But it's cool. Everyone's on their weekend. I roll in with like my coffee, and it's like just a great way to start your Saturday morning with a little bit of violence,
I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, where can people find you?
Man, Off the Dome Radio, Spotify, iTunes, Instagram. My personal stuff at Slagermeister, like Jägermeister, only Slagermeister. But yeah, that's and then my coaching business, Optimal Fitness RX. On all my social medias.
All right.
Yeah, we can keep rolling for sure. A little bit.
Okay. I have a selfish question.
Yeah.
I had a pretty gnarly ankle sprain about a week and a half ago. I know you're a big rehab guy. What should I be doing? I want to come back. So little background. So most of my workouts are like so I'll deadlift. That's really the only heavy thing that I do. So I'm really mostly trying to be about like function and so like pull-ups, just body stuff, and pretty athletic. I'm just old man. I can still dunk.
Nice. Dude.
But I want to make sure like I come back stronger. What would you be doing?
So is your ankle better now? Like, can you do just about everything now?
No, not quite. The swelling's down, but still got a little baseball over there.
Okay. First thing I would do is like stabilize and strengthen the ankle too. So I can show you an exercise even before I leave today, where you can start just on the ground, and then we can start to use things like a BOSU and add instability to challenge your ankle.
Okay.
And that you can strengthen your stability through there too, as well as, knee and hip, things like that. You doing like squats and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. I would also isolate it. So like Bulgarians,
okay,
lunges, things like that, where you're forced to rely more on one side at a time, just so your good side doesn't start to take over and compensate.
Yeah, as I've gotten older, I've switched to mostly that.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, that I would also probably use some things. Check out knees over toes guy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So one of the sleds, I think sled work would be good, forwards and backward pulls. But also things like he'll lean up against a wall and he'll raise his toes up.
Yeah.
Tib raises. Now that will strengthen like your peroneal groups, like outside your calves on the front part of your shins.
It's amazing how much that muscle doesn't get used.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Then you do, like I said, 20 of those. Do that 3 times. Your shins are on fire.
Yeah.
But so things like that. Then I would do traditional calf raises still. But I'll show you some things where we can focus on stabilizing that one ankle and just challenge it in planes of motion that it might not be getting used. Have you sprained that one quite a bit?
I sprained them both a lot. I played basketball my whole life. I sprained them a million times.
Yeah.
So like, that's my ankles.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, once you start spraining them, they're just more susceptible.
I haven't had an injury in a really long time, and I was like taking pride in that. And then,
were you playing ball?
Yeah.
You wear ankle braces?
Never.
No, you should.
No.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. Nope. Won't do it. I don't want to.
I wore those when I played in high school.
I had to wear them once in a while. No, I know. So I'm not worried about it like affecting my game. I don't want to become like, okay, if I play without them, I'm gonna be thinking about it.
Well, I feel like if you have them, you'll think less about it because you got some protection.
But I never think about, I never think about what I know what fucking happened too. So like I usually, like if I don't get a warm up, I'll play my first game with my shoes untied, and I'll just kind of skate.
Bro.
I'll skate around. And so my shoes are like tight, but like I just kind of like slide around instead of like jumping and moving a lot, and just kind of get my feet and my ankles warmed up that way. I tied my shoe loosely, and so I don't know if like my brain just thought it was like fully tied, and I was like driving to the basket, and dude came under me on the layup and just landed right on his foot. It was worst one I've had in a long time.
So it's a dangerous one going under someone when they're in the air.
Yep.
Because you have no defense.
Yeah, which is
and it's like you just pick a ball, like let the dude have a layup.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't play like that.
I know, like
pretty aggressive.
Get competitive for sure, but like, dude, it's like just let them have it. Live to play another day.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed because like basketball is like my therapy. I play 3 to 5 times a week, probably. Okay. I just love it.
Yeah. You got like a CBD cream or anything you use?
I just have tinctures.
Okay.
So no, I don't have any cream.
Yeah. I might get you a cream too. That'll help that.
I'll take a cream.
Yeah. Get some extra cannabinoids in that bad bitch. I'll show you some things to try to do as long as it's not painful.
Yeah, so the pain is not on like a 1 to 10, it's like a 3 now.
Okay.
So it wasn't as bad. Like at first when it happened, it was like really, it was excruciating pain. And then it wasn't terrible, but it was like super swollen. Like my foot was jiggling whenever I'd walk for the next couple of days. And so, you do the ice, and I was doing sauna as well. And I think the sauna helped a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like, but it was big.
And you're never going to wear ankle braces.
Never. No.
I mean,
I feel like you can train.
Keep that in the back of your mind, though. Like,
I feel like I can train it. So,
but once you start rolling them, they're just more susceptible for the next one and the one after that. Like, so
don't put that in the universe, man. I'm not gonna.
Dude, that's just science. That's not even me making the rule. I didn't make that rule.
Sorry, I don't believe in science.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the trend.
Yeah.
No one wants to believe in science. That's fine.
Well, if the science doesn't support what I believe, then it's
not
science.
Your Earth is flat then too, and you bastard.
That's one I can't get behind. I'm always down for a good conspiracy, but that one just doesn't do it for me.
Dude, there was one. Dr. Phil was on Rogan. Did you listen to that episode?
Yes, he's great, by the way.
Very important episode. I thought that was huge, and I was never like, I'd listened to him on Rogan before, and that's when I first became like a fan of Dr. Phil.
I was just thought he was like the daytime doctor.
Yeah, like, I had bad baby, catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah.
And man,
poor guy.
Deal with her.
Dude, that sucks. I was saying this to a friend, and we'll get back to what you're saying. Sorry.
No, you're good.
But like he's put in this work for like decades. He's built like a wonderful name for himself, a great career, and then like everyone remembers him for her.
Yeah, right.
That fucking sucks, dude. All that work, and now people just equate you with bad baby.
And people are also trying to say he's like some super right-wing extremist, and
far from it.
Yeah, right. But that was such a good episode for mental health too. But one of the things he said about like all the fentanyl, and one, I didn't know you could buy drugs off Snapchat.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing until
Telegram
he brought it up. Okay, that makes more sense than Snapchat in my brain. And I was like, dude, I didn't know you could buy anything off.
Yeah.
And he's saying how people are buying these pills. One girl bought what she thought was melatonin to sleep before her finals
Mm-hmm.
and took a quarter of it. It's fucking fentanyl.
That's
She was
terrible.
dead. And he was saying that he said to Joe, "This is one for your conspiracy theorists." And I don't know. It sounded like he had more evidence.
I know where you're going with this, and I want to go there. So
yeah,
continue.
with he was saying that China is synthesizing
Mm-hmm.
that chemical.
Yep.
And I forget which cartel, but they ship it to a cartel in Mexico. I think it's south across from San Diego, south of the border. And I think it was like 70,000 pills a day.
It was some insane amount.
I think I'm undershooting it.
Yeah.
I don't want to misquote.
Yeah.
But it was 70 something. It was astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
And getting across the border. And it's like that is one of the leading causes of deaths in the last couple of years. I've talked to cop friends of mine where they're like, no one even understands how bad it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awful. And it's like, people think, oh, we're racist for shutting the border. No, like, do you lock your doors at night?
Right.
Why?
Of
So bad people don't get in. Bad stuff doesn't happen. That's the same. Like, I shouldn't be
preparation.
allowed. Yeah, I shouldn't be allowed to move to Spain just on a whim and start living and working there.
Right.
Like, I'm nobody.
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't be the case for anyone. But yeah, the whole, like, all the drug things, man, like that is a killer of all worlds.
Yeah. So the China thing is interesting. Have you heard of the Opium Wars?
Heard of them, but I haven't researched them as much as like.
So in the 1800s, when Britain was doing, their world conquering thing,
Mm-hmm.
they were bringing opium into China and basically like got the entire country addicted to opium. And
That's
so
some
like
blinders shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where that comes from. So the this is like a proven form of warfare. It's just like drugging your opponents into oblivion.
Yeah.
And so this would be the equivalent of that in my mind. That's if you had to ask me like, why is this happening? Like, what is the point of fentanyl? Like, for shipping that kind of stuff and like cutting drugs with fentanyl, when like the chances of dying from a fentanyl overdose are extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of it? Well, it can only be nefarious in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the equivalent of the Opium Wars. So their attack back against the West with the same form of warfare.
Because they can't bring over ships and guns.
Right.
They'll lose.
Right.
Any country who tries that against us will lose. That's not the fear. It's that or cyber.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to try to scare people. If China really wanted to do us in within a matter of months, they'd just cut off our medical supplies.
Yeah.
That's all they would have to do. We would implode. It would be the worst part of survival.
Yeah. You think it would be that?
I mean, they own a majority of our medical. Like, that's
For
where
sure.
we get a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, where else would it come from?
Of course.
So like that's why,
So the question is, why wouldn't they do that? Because they're very clearly wanting to assert their place in the world. So the question is, why wouldn't they do that?
Good question.
Because the repercussions would be greater than.
I think so. I think eventually it'd be, all right, well, it's doomsday for everyone.
Yeah.
I think it could go that way. There's also something to just owning another country really more so.
Mm-hmm.
And like, look, I don't have evidence to back this up outside of watching too many Sicario movies, but I think countries work with cartels.
For sure.
Financially too.
Yeah.
Like, there's how much money is going through. We say we capture a lot. How much are we?
Yeah.
Kind of turning a blind eye. I don't know, maybe zero. Maybe no one's turning blind eyes, but people are imperfect beings. But like there's necessary evils.
Yeah.
And I think, to them maybe keeping us around is a necessary evil.
Yeah. But I think you say that like if there were a war, there's zero chance without, so I think that they're in a war that we aren't aware that we're in, if that makes sense. So their whole thing is like subversion. Have you ever read The Art of War?
I haven't.
Oh, you got to read it.
Yeah.
So it's like a 3,000-year-old manual on, it's like basically a bunch of metaphors and for war, how to conduct warfare. And the whole thing, and it's by a Chinese general, Sun Tzu.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is you don't fight. you win without fighting. Like that's the highest form of warfare.
Interesting.
And I mean, that's a book that's, it's almost like, you'd say like the West is built off of Christianity or the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's how significant this book is to that culture.
Mm.
You're winning a war, and like China, like in their history, has never gone out and attacked. They've never been that people. You win a war without fighting.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So I believe that they're in a war with us that we aren't aware of generally or willing to admit.
I mean, financially, they own us.
Right.
So,
I mean, we could also just say, fuck you.
Yeah.
And they couldn't really do anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
That would be just bad for them and us.
Man, that's fast. Dude, wild times. We live in wild times.
Yeah.
Watch, they're gonna. Who's saying that we're?
Oh, is this just my thoughts
pretty soon?
Yeah, our millions of listeners will probably have this spread around the internet, and they're gonna come after us.
Yeah, right.
I'm not suicidal, everybody. Are you still in Bitcoin?
Oh yeah. I'm still in crypto.
You trading?
No.
Did your ass whooped?
No, yeah.
Oh man, I lost almost all my money in the last crash. Back on top, but holy shit.
I had to stop. Yeah. Well, for a few reasons. Yes, I was losing. Not that I lost, I didn't lose my complete ass. Just a little bit of one cheek.
I shouldn't say I lost all my money. I lost a giant, significant portion of my bag.
Yeah. But it was also, dude, this is not my skill. This is not what I'm going to dedicate time to. I don't have enough cash flow to keep allowing myself to lose and lose. I can't afford it in terms of time, skill set. Like, that's not my skill.
It's such a distraction.
Yeah. And so I quit trying to trade it. I'm like, dude, I had this shiny object syndrome. It is what I had.
Dude, there's nothing better than making $1,000 in 5 minutes by making a lucky guess.
Yeah, let's talk addiction. Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. But now I invest and I leave it. So, I'll keep my ear to the ground on other things. So I do slowly buy, outside of Bitcoin, Ethereum, I have crypto.com.
Okay.
Because that's kind of everywhere, especially in UFC.
Yep.
And fighting is one of the biggest sports in the world. I have XRP, XLM, Avalanche.
Avalanche got crushed.
Yeah, so I bought some more. And dude, another one I saw, some random multimillionaire optimism coin. Dude, never heard of it? It was cheap, so I bought some. I was like, all right, I'll just put it in there, just a few bucks. But dude, I know I'm missing a big one for smart contracts. It's a very popular one. Oh my gosh, dude. It's another one that deals with smart contracts.
It's not Solana.
No, I don't have any Solana. That got too rich for my blood after a while.
Yeah, that just got obliterated. One of my best friends had probably 80% of his wealth in Solana and Luna.
Damn.
Yeah.
8%'s not nothing.
80.
Oh.
80.
That's still not nothing. 80. See, that's too, I don't know. I would never put that much into one thing. That's a lot, dude.
I mean, they were good products. Well, yeah, I want to say that, but they were just artificially inflated.
I would never put that much in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I would never put that much in any stock.
I think Solana can make a comeback. Obviously, Luna's dead, which is brutal because wasn't it up to 300? Now it's 0.25% of a penny.
I couldn't tell you.
Ugh.
It's crazy.
I tried to make a quick money grab on that. Whenever it bottomed out, it went. So I forget. I think it was around $300, and then it went to. Well, that's interesting. So I think it depends on where I'm at on the mic. Anyway.
Oh yeah, if you're
Yeah, it went to I don't know, $2. And I was all right, even if this goes back to $4, that's double my money. So I threw $1,000 in it.
Good day.
Whap, gone. 10 minutes.
Yeah,
disappeared.
I quit trying to get the quick bag. I was dude, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yep.
But things like XRP, I think still, has a shot. People are still kind of bullish on Dogecoin. I got out of that a while back. I
Mhm.
don't trust it. Although you can buy Dallas Mavericks tickets
Yeah.
with Doge.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
think-
interested. Like, if Cuban's allowing you to buy his Mavs tickets with Doge, what does he know that I don't know?
Right, and also with Elon purchasing Twitter and wanting a payment system on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he bought Twitter, Doge went up 100 and some percent.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I do have Doge on Mars. That coin.
See, that's a little too shit coin.
I have some of that. He's even like retweeted stuff on that before. I don't have a ton of money in there. Like
Doge
maybe
on Mars.
$100, $150 or something like that.
Yeah, those are the fun ones. So I've been doing this thing where I will look at the charts, and I will look back over like the last like 4 months, and something's been pretty much bottomed out since May. Hasn't gone up, hasn't gone down, but the on balance volume, which is like the buying selling volume, if it's like going up, but the price is staying the same, that means people are loading up on it. And so those are the ones that moon. So I've got like 4 or 5 coins that I have, through like $400 or $500 in that like I know are not going to go down, but they have a really significant chance of going 100% up.
Really?
Yeah.
You got 1 or 2 that you want to give me?
Yeah. So FET, it's Fetch AI.
Okay.
It's $FET. This is not financial advice.
Yeah, none of this is financial advice.
This is degenerate gambling. That one has like a incredibly high on OBV, on balance volume.
Okay.
So I think FET was up to like $40 at one point, and the OBV kind of like the theory of using on balance volume is like the increase in volume in the balance of it typically signifies a price change. So when there's a divergence between the actual price and the OBV, that means that there's a better chance of it going like up. It's just like a RSI divergence.
Okay.
But let's see, FET is one, IoTX, so Internet of Things.
Okay.
That's another one that's been like at the same level for like 4 or 5 months. And so I have some money in that as well. But these are just like, again, these are shit coins that I don't put that much money into.
Yeah,
You're talking $400 or $500. It's a low risk for me. And then, you put up, how often are you going to get 100x or a 10x return on something? Not very often. But I know that the odds of it going down 50% is way lower than the odds of it going up 200%.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So it's
like
that risk. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't put a lot of money or expectations in these. But the FET one's looking like it could be a good one.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah. After so many, though, I'm like, God, I got to put more money into some rather than a little into a ton.
Yeah. It's hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just have like a set amount that I'll go on these Moon Boys. And then I'm just in and out. I don't really hold anything, especially in a bear market.
Yeah.
It's like silly. You're literally just handing your money to the market.
Yeah.
I haven't figured out how to short stuff. But I do think that I don't know that the bottom is in on Bitcoin.
Yeah, hard to say. It's hovered that 16 to 17 for a minute now.
Yeah, well, it was at the 18, or it was at 19, basically pegged to 19 for what, 4 months? And just, it's scary to go down, encourage you to go up, and just every fucking time you get a pump or a dump, it go right back to 19.
Yep.
And then it finally dropped out with the FTX stuff.
Yeah, that whole scam.
Yeah.
A lot of conspiracy behind that bullshit, too.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
A lot of timing.
Yep. And the fact that he's on this like press tour, like, dude, you stole $10 billion from people. And like the New York Times is still going to like.
How is he not in jail?
Right.
What's the New York Times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his mom's like she's like the founder of True the Vote, I think is True the Vote.
Yep.
Which is well aligned with New York Times. And it's just like amazing. Like this dude just Bernie Madoffed way more people than Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
And he's just walking. I mean, he's in the Bahamas, but surely they have some kind of extradition with us.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, we'll Tom Brady he's got to play a few more seasons now.
Bro, he got hit hard the last couple months.
I don't know how much money he had in FTX, but I know he was a big proponent of it.
I've heard a significant portion of he and Giselle's $650 million fortune was in there.
Significant. So they probably had a couple $100 million in it.
Right. Ugh.
Man, that dude, this year is not his year.
Yeah.
From football to personal life to financial.
Yeah.
He's getting worked over.
Yeah. Imagine like.
Welcome to real life, Tom.
Yeah, that really sucks because he's the GOAT.
Yeah, he is the best quarterback ever.
For sure. I mean, you can't like how many championships? 7?
7.
That's more than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
In football. That doesn't happen.
I did have a client. I didn't know he had said this, but I guess before this season, maybe not before this season, maybe it was a season ago, but he made a comment that he compared leaving for training camp was like a deployment. And I guess he had like apologized for it later, but so all trained like military people do cuts and stuff. And this one, she was like, yeah, that made me hate him forever because you just don't compare those two. I was like, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he's no longer the best quarterback ever. He is. But yeah, you can't say that. Like that's nowhere close, dude. You get to go play football. You're not going to get shot at.
It's an unfortunate metaphor. I'm sure he wasn't like actually comparing apples to apples.
Right.
It's 100%. An unfortunate metaphor.
Yeah, he ate his words a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you talked before you thought. It happens.
Yeah, I've been known to do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, well, it stinks because he's on such a grand stage where everything he says is megaphoned.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't think he meant it either, like in a negative way. But it's like, bro, you got to be careful like that.
Yeah, that's pretty silly. But, yeah, I mean, I can't relate because I've never been deployed. So I don't know how that would feel to have somebody compare playing football to my sacrifice.
Yeah, same. But, yeah, dude, wild times we're living.
Yeah.
But, man, I watched, have you seen Stutz on Netflix?
Stutz.
So
I think I've heard of that. Is that with Jonah Hill? Yeah, dude.
It's good.
I want to watch this. I was telling Caitlin, my wife, I was like, hey, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about this. Like, we should watch it.
It's really good.
She's like, I'm not watching that.
No, it's, I think it's, so in terms of, because I'm big on like mental health and stuff, but I think it's important because it also, there are real tools you can take from it. From like, obviously a top end therapist.
Yeah. And it's just like it's like a movie, not like a series, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's like an hour and a half or something.
Yeah.
But it's all black and white.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy.
That's cool.
And Jonah Hill like gets kind of real and honest with it. I won't spoil things, but it's cool to see him and his therapist, how well they get along, how much they like truly love each other, like what they've each gone through.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't really know, like we know Jonah Hill is like super bad, War Dogs, Moneyball. We don't know like the Jonah Hill that
Wolf
struggles.
Wall Street.
Yeah, right. We don't know the Jonah Hill that like struggles is like real people that we do. And so it was cool, and like, yeah, there's actual tools, and that was part of his reasoning for making it, was to allow people to take tangible tools away from a therapy session, so that they could, apply it to their lives. And one of their things was this therapist. It's Phil Stutz, and this dude has Parkinson's.
Really?
So you'll see him kind of like, that's why. So the writing on, like when you go on Netflix and see the cover art, I'm actually probably going to make a post about it. Like the writing is shaky, but he's got Parkinson's. So that kind of adds to it. And they talk about it because he's big on doing drawings, visualizations when he talks about the tools. But one of their things, his thing is everyone has a life force.
Real quick, drawings like whenever you're trying to think through something, or
so like when he explains a tool to use, like he will actually draw a picture of like the tool explaining it.
Okay. So like a model.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, exactly. So like with the life force, he drew like a pyramid in levels. So your 3 levels in your life force is your relationship with your physical body, with other people, and with yourself.
Okay.
And so he said, if anything is like going wrong in your life, something's going haywire, like go back to your life force. Take care of those 3 things first. And more times than not, it will help improve whatever situation you're dealing with or going through.
Interesting.
So take care of your physical body. So your exercise, however that is, eating well, take care of your people and take care of yourself, like internally. And so that's your life force. I'm trying to think another big one. Oh yeah, I said if you're on this like negative loop, if like someone did you wrong and you're in a bad situation or whatever, you keep playing in your mind over and over, and it's just negative. It's like you're stuck in this loop and it's preventing you from moving forward because you are stuck in the same loop of maze where it just has that hold on you. And I think we can all probably relate to that. He's like, you have to just like close your eyes, think about it, and you have to allow yourself to show love to that situation or person, no matter what happened. Allow yourself to show love to it and let it go and move on. It's like, but it's a hard one to do.
Yeah.
Like,
we're watching that tonight.
Yeah, dude, it's a good one. I had to break it up. Like I would, of course, watch it before bed, which I shouldn't do. Screens right before bed.
Right. Yeah.
But it was good, man. I thought, like, man, if I had access to Jonah Hill, I'd love to have him on the podcast.
That would be very cool.
I'm gonna start tapping his line and just see what happens.
You should
see what happens. But hey,
awesome.
dude, we can talk about your movies, whatever. But priority is the documentary.
That's awesome.
But I'm sure he's about to have everyone hit him up for an interview.
Yeah,
like everyone in the world.
Persistence, right?
But yeah, I'll try, dude. I'll try.
That's great.
I'm trying to get Patty the Batty.
Oh yeah,
but
that'd be great.
Yeah, because he's big on mental health too. So
did you see that video of him
with his dog?
Yes. Oh my, a dog shit in your yard.
And then he just posted a video of him walking like in Vegas, and there's dog shit on the sidewalk.
That was great. I would. I'm watching that movie tonight.
It's a good one, man. It's really good.
Caitlin and I watched this show. I think it's called From Scratch, and it's probably more of a chick show, but live with a woman.
Yeah.
And this guy has cancer, and he's in the hospital, and this guy's dad is in there, and I've got some serious like trauma from all this stuff with my kid, and he just said it's a terrible thing for a father to have a son in the hospital, and like I just started fucking crying. Like we both like it's incredibly difficult. Like I've held my lifeless son in my arms multiple times, and that is the worst thing that I've ever gone through. Not even close. So what you're talking about is like really speaks to me. I'm going to watch that tonight.
Yeah, I think it's super useful. Yeah, because like we talked about it earlier, like, dude, I think most of our country's problems are stemming from parenting and mental health.
Like, how much of the overstimulation do you think is responsible for mental health issues?
I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
But I think that's still like, I was blessed with really amazing parents. That showed a lot of love and support and all that. And not everyone has that.
Yeah.
But I think, social media, you compare, everyone shows a fake life. Half that shit's not real life for most of those people. But I think, Ryan Mickler talks about it, fatherless homes. How many, like the stats on those kids, committing crimes, getting in trouble, is astronomical. But yeah, I think overstimulation, especially how prevalent like porn is becoming too. Like that's not real either.
Right.
Like those aren't real relationships. And I think a lot of people know that, but it's a trap.
Oh, it's easy sex.
Yeah. And so it's Huberman has talked about that instant gratification. It's so quick, and you have to be careful about that dopamine hit addiction.
Yeah. Did you listen to his dopamine episodes?
Only brief parts about it. But that's what that is that instant reward.
Yeah.
And once you get accustomed to that, like it takes more and more frequent and more aggressive things to get that. And like then you hear stories about teenage kids, early 20-year-old kids who can't get their dick up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's like, man, so we're throwing gasoline on the fire, and we talk about countries that want to see our downfall. They don't even have to do that much.
Yeah. I mean, so one of my clients is a men's health clinic, and I can't say too much, obviously, but some of the inquiries we get are from like young kids, like my dick's not working, and like we know what it is, dude. Just give yourself a little break.
Yeah, stop watching porn for a couple weeks, and you'll probably get pretty hard looking. Yeah,
And yeah, I mean, it's insane. Like I wouldn't think that like these young kids that are still like lower 20s, and obviously again I can't say much, but like they're saying, why do I have erectile dysfunction at a young age? It's like stimulus.
We're so overstimulated.
Stimulus.
It's yeah, it's a big problem, and I don't know how we get back on track. I think there has to be an acceptance that it's not all the external things. Like it's a mental health thing. Like it's we have to accept it.
Yeah.
That we have that problem. We don't have a gun problem. We have a mental health problem. We don't have all these other issues. We have a mental health issue.
One of my biggest issues with just mental health conversations in general is it seems to me that it's way too often like it's okay that you have like how many of these mental issues that or mental sicknesses, not even like illnesses, but like little things are because you aren't doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like I feel like I'm somebody like in a camp of like self-esteem is something that you don't deserve, so it's something you have to earn, like by living up to, Ed Miles says, the promises you make to yourself. So I don't really like, I understand the importance of mental health, but the conversations 9 times out of 10 are from like yoga chicks talking about accepting yourself, and that just drives me up a wall.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, and it's like, oh, it's okay to not be okay. Like, yes and no.
It's okay to be there, but like you got to get yourself out.
Yeah,
you identify with it.
You got to talk to somebody, like to a professional. And I've worked with like, she wasn't like an actual therapist, but like a relationship coach. It was like not just like a intimate relationship, but with other people. And that's a big battle. So how do you handle scenarios when you're at odds with this, or this happened, or a relationship could just consume me and prevent me from doing other things. So it's like managing those things. And it was super helpful. But yeah, I got a buddy. He's got a guy from his church that he referred me to that'll probably start. I think the happiest people should talk to a therapist.
Yeah, I've been knowing that I need to go see a therapist forever, but just haven't.
And it's like, I don't know. I've seen I forget the page, but there's this. I hate that I'm even saying this. There's this woman on TikTok that is so pro men. It's so helpful. Where she's like, look, you shouldn't just. Why would a guy want a woman who's just been ran through?
And is that Jedediah from Valuetainment?
So. Yeah. And she makes great points.
It's not even like she's pro men. She's like pro like modesty.
Yeah, I guess that's a better way to put it. But it's also like yeah, you got to be a man's man. You got to be a man. Like
I fully agree with that. I feel like that solves a lot of our issues.
Yeah, you can tell your wife problems and shit, but not many women actually want to be a shoulder for the man crying all the time. No matter how many times I say it, they don't.
Right.
They want to kill her.
Yeah, I mean, they say, in my experience, women say a lot of things that they think they mean, but like they're just not wired that way. It's not their fault. It's a wiring. It's evolution.
Yeah. Like we're supposed to be hunters. Like I saw this one guy. He's like, men need to be a monster.
Yes.
And that's one of Jordan Peterson's things. He's like, you need to have the ability to be a monster.
Yeah, the dangerous man is not the monster. The dangerous man is the guy that has no capability of being a monster. Something along those lines.
Like the weak guy. Is the most dangerous. Because when they're not in control of themselves, they're going to resort to more violent acts. When they don't have control of anything. It's like if you're weak, you'll go to the extremes. In a relationship or whatever.
How often are these guys that are getting Me Too'd and like having all these sexual harassment claims and all that shit, how often are they just like ugly, like weak looking dudes? All the time. You don't see like a good looking, strong, masculine dude being part of this.
Yeah. That dude who's chopping wood in this forest on TikTok, he doesn't have those claims.
Dude.
He doesn't have those claims.
He's just chopping wood.
He's a man's man. He's tatted up the neck and he's chopping wood, dude.
Yes.
He's a man.
Yes.
And look how many women like duet that, and they lose their minds. And it's like, not that you got to go chop wood, but like, gotta be a man.
Yes, I agree.
Not saying you can't say like you deal with shit. We all deal with shit, but not all women want exactly what they say they want.
Yeah.
Like there are
Men
certain
either.
roles for male and female.
Yeah, for sure. And there's like this weird thing where, I mean, everybody's talked about it, like the male feminists, like they think they're getting something out of that they're not. Like, I'm going to be so understanding and compassionate that she's going to love me.
You just bow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like you gotta show resistance, man. If someone crosses a line, you gotta tell them no. Hey, you cross the line.
Yeah.
You don't talk to me that way.
Amen.
Like
there's like you got to have a friction, and you got to be able to handle the friction.
Yeah. And like they'll respect when you stand up for shit. You gotta stand up for shit.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying I was always the best at that. Like, I've let women like kind of take advantage of me before, but it's like, where I'm at now. And I give a lot to like jujitsu still. Like, I'm ready let's have a little war.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
let's fight. Let's rumble in the jungle, baby.
Yeah. Being prepared for that kind of thing just brings a lot of confidence to a man.
I'm gonna start like wrestling women on the street. Like, I don't want people, I've rolled with some badass chicks at the gym though, who I know could kill me.
Yeah.
But it's
funny, like girls that know jujitsu can just whoop the hell out of some dude that doesn't.
Yeah. And I've rolled with some where I know like we're working. Mm-hmm. They're letting me play, we're working, and I know they can catch me anytime they want.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. Like, but yeah, dude, it's this whole, I see what's School of Greatness? Lewis House. Yeah.
I haven't listened to him in a long time.
They talk about like the toxic masculinity and things. And Rogan talks about it. It's like, no, dude. Yeah. We need the masculinity.
Yes, we do. I mean, there's a balance that's been had for all of human history. Admittedly, probably more one-sided than not, but that's what civilization was built on. And you break down that foundational component of masculinity, look what happens. We have chaos and violence. Men have to be capable of violence.
Yeah.
But
warrior in the garden.
Yeah. It's, again, like I said earlier, speak softly, carry a big stick.
I love that, dude. I'm going to start using that.
Yeah. You got to be prepared, but that doesn't mean you're going to go out looking for war.
Right.
You're just prepared for when it comes.
It's like you've heard Rogan say that he knows all those MMA fighters who are savages. They're the nicest people because they know how capable they are.
Yeah.
They don't need to prove shit.
Yeah. Preparation brings that calmness, that confidence.
Mm-hmm. What's his thing? It's like tough times create strong men create easy times create weak men, and weak men create tough times.
Yeah.
In this loop.
Yep.
And it's like, man, like we've seen it unfold over the last few years of now we have tough times.
Yes, we do.
So,
and I think those tough times are just getting started. But the good news is we'll hopefully still be around for the tough times creating strong men creating great times.
I hope so. I feel like there are people trying to push through that little plateau.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of loud voices from a smaller amount of people that are getting a megaphone.
Yeah, because I mean you can be morally righteous and like shout down somebody that says the things that we're saying. Because it's like, oh, but do you know how much violence against women there is? I promise you, it's not from guys that look and act like me.
Yeah, right.
It just isn't.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
sad. I'm not saying that's like an okay thing. Like, no, you got to treat women right. Like,
of course. But I don't think anybody's saying anybody in this. Well, there are some like fucking weirdos like that. The red pill president dude. He's a fucking weirdo. But
who's that?
I think his name's Anthony Johnson, and he's just talking about women need to be in the kitchen.
Oh. And it's like, dude, half my life is in the kitchen.
Yeah, he has a hat there where it's like, make women great again. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I cook all the damn time. I cook all my food.
Yeah, I cook in our house most of the time.
Yeah.
So. But we have our roles, like, and we have a very like masculine and feminine role in our house, and we are of the understanding I'm the head of the household. She runs the home, like she keeps things here together. She keeps our kids together. She keeps me together. And
you're all good with it.
Yes.
You guys are good with it.
And yes.
Married with 2 kids.
Happily married with 2 kids.
Yeah. Still doing date nights. I love when I see you post about date night. Like, you got to keep dating your wife.
Got to keep dating your wife.
Yeah.
It's hard whenever you have kids, but it's it's funny because like you get caught up in the day to day with like all the craziness around here. So like
Mhm.
we have a nurse for my son, we have a nanny to help with my daughter,
Mhm.
and there's still like we feel like we have no time.
Damn.
And
Yeah.
so the bickering happens. Like you didn't do this, I didn't do that, whatever. And then you go on a date night with no kids, and you're like, oh yeah, we really really like each other.
We back.
Yes, and so date nights is huge.
Yeah.
But we need a vacation for sure. We haven't had a vacation since Roman was born.
Yeah. You guys have like a go-to spot or anywhere you got in mind when you can?
Yeah, so we'll probably go whenever the goal from day one has been whenever Roman gets off his stuff and gets recovered, we're going to Hawaii for a month.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Whole month, dude. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I can work from anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like her work will be helpful with that. So I wanted to like have her be done with working by then, but she really just for her own sanity just needs something else other than the kids.
And what kind of work is she doing again?
She's essentially, so she's a service coordinator, but it's essentially like a project manager for a manufacturing company.
Okay.
She's really good at it. And that's just like her personality. She's very organized. She can delegate really well.
Mm.
She's incredibly intelligent. I've never won an argument with her. But
Play her that clip.
Yeah,
a lot of brownie points.
Yeah, I don't need brownie points. We don't do that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, in fact, anytime there's ever like a brownie points scenario where it's like obviously she's just like, what are you doing? She knows better.
That's funny.
We've been together for 13 years. Wow, 13 years, maybe today. Wow.
Is it today?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh?
Yeah.
Good for you guys, man.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
That's almost, let's see, whenever we're 38, that'll be half our life together already.
You love to hear those stories, though.
Yeah.
People just riding it out.
It was just one of those things, like, I didn't want a girlfriend when I was a freshman in college.
Yeah.
But we met, and it's just like, nothing could have prevented it.
Yeah.
I feel very lucky. Like, we grew up together, basically.
Yeah.
Like, we became adults together.
Mm-hmm.
And grateful for that, man.
Yeah, that's a whole different perspective.
That I don't have to do the whole like digital dating shit. That just sounds awful.
Yeah,
like Bumble and all that.
I'm not on any of that shit, bro. Like, and I got friends who married, good relationships, kids, like off of that. And, like, good for you. It's just it's not my shtick.
Yeah,
it's not for me, man. Like I'm an in-person guy. Like, and also, man, I kind of made a deal with like. This might sound weird to some people, but kind of made a deal with God a few years ago. Like, all right, man, I'm going to take my hands off that wheel because every time I try to control it, I go sideways for months, man. Like, it always blows up, and I'm not in a good headspace. And like, I also think I had to focus on becoming the man that is desirable to the woman that I am trying to attract.
I was just going to say that. Like, so many people, men and women alike, are just like, why can't I find somebody?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because you have to also be somebody that somebody wants to marry. And marriage is like way more than just like hanging out. You got to like figure out life together.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you're not somebody that is, loyal, if you're not somebody that is, can put the other person before yourself, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be somebody that somebody wants to be with.
100%.
And I mean, I think I said that to one of Caitlin's friends one time, and then she was like, she just kind of changed her whole outset on it. And next boyfriend she ended up marrying. And it's just like, that's the number one thing is like, if you want to be married, one, you got to define who you want to be with.
Mm-hmm.
And two, you got to figure out like what kind of person that person want to be with, and then become that.
Yeah.
But like what you're saying is like, I need to be, like you just said, exactly word for word. I have to be the kind of person that somebody wants to end up with.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100% true. Yeah. That's taking ownership of the situation.
And like, I also have like goals to hit before, like, before I have kids. Like, I have financial goals. I want to make sure, like, if my wife wants to work, she can. If she doesn't want to work, we won't feel it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to have that freedom.
Don't let that hold you back.
Yeah. I mean, not that I'm in like a rush for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
yeah. I always thought that now my only regret is not having kids earlier.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like I wish we would have gotten married younger. I wish we would have had kids earlier. Because like, yes, it's nice if you don't have to worry about that shit, but it's way nicer whenever you can worry about that shit together and build that teamwork. And like, I mean, marriage for me has been all about like you're growing through life together
Mm-hmm.
and becoming one. Like we're still independent people. Like
Mm-hmm.
I go do my thing, she goes and does her thing, and that's super important. Like you can't become like codependent where you're like an A frame and one of them's not there, that one falls
Right.
over. Like that's unhealthy.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest thing that I would tell people, like what you're saying, is like you're never going to be ready for kids. You're never going to be ready for marriage. It's just something you have to. Just like whenever you became an entrepreneur, it's just like something you just got to go.
Yeah.
You just got to do it,
Gotta do it.
and
Yeah.
then you figure it out.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is commitment. You got to be committed to figuring it out too.
Yeah.
So I know you're not asking for marriage advice, but
No, it's all
that's
good,
just
man.
for generally to people
Yeah.
that are looking for that sort of thing. Is you got to be that person that somebody else wants to marry, not just worry about what you want to marry.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's not
For
gonna work.
sure. And I always like hearing people's perspective on it. Like, not that I'm trying to shy away from it. Like, I'm open to it. Like, if I meet someone, I meet somebody. But I'm also not trying so hard to seek it out. Like, I'm in enough groups. Like, I'm in multiple gyms. I am out there, quote unquote. Like, I am out there a lot. Like, I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
So, I'm not like chasing tail at bars.
Right.
Not on apps. It's just not my thing. But I'm out there. So
Your lighthouse.
Man, it'll go how it needs to go.
Yeah.
I'm only 29. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised if I get the same feeling of, man, I wish I had kids sooner, pop some more out, because I want like 2 or 3,
Yeah. Yeah, it's turned into a family podcast, but man, it's just the best.
Yeah.
But listen, man, I got to wrap up.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Yep.
Thank you for spending so much time helping me set this up.
Dude, of course. Thanks for having me, man.
Sorry it took so long, but
No, that's all good. Appreciate
just
having me in
did,
your house, too.
Yeah. I hope we can do it again. Hopefully Tim can join us.
Yeah, he was just on. He needed a little vacation.
Don't we all?
Dude hustles harder than most people I know, so
all right, Colin.
He's a workhorse, yeah.
So Slagermeister on social media.
Slagermeister, Off the Dome Radio, Optimal Fitness RX.
All right. Thanks, brother.
That's it. Thank you.
Let's get a little pose in here.
All right. Oh, shit.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thanks, dude.
All right. Thank you. Good shit.